This championship hangover. I mean, my God.
I haven't slept.
I'm not damn intern. I feel like we're forgetting something though. Like, didn't we have something we were supposed to do this off season?
You gave me a summer plan. I'm still working on the first draft.
You're still working on the draft?
Yeah, it's just in the draft stage.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still just a draft.
Do you remember what it was that we were supposed to be working on?
I can't think of it.
I'm exhausted, man. That's all I know.
Do you guys need any help?
You know what, buddy? I got something for you. You could, you guys thirsty?
Yeah.
You could get us a couple coffees.
Coffee would be great.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Thank you so much, Doc.
I mean, what is it?
Something. There was something.
Gotta be something, man.
Dude, they've had Bulls on the TV all damn day. What do you have on draft?
Yeah, Brett Brews, we got 6 on draft.
6 beers on draft.
I have 6 beers on draft.
Man, I love a draft beer.
I wonder if they have Vanilla Porter Jr. on draft.
On draft?
On draft.
We got the Avalanche on draft.
They have an Avalanche on draft.
All right. Miroslav, help us out. I know we have something we're forgetting. What are we forgetting?
I have no idea, man. I had too much beer this morning with Eric in Belgrade, so my mind is completely empty. Wait, is that an open window behind you, Adam?
Yeah, why?
Do you want to get killed by Promaya?
What's Promia?
Oh, come on, when you have a window and a door open in a room at the same time, that horrible wind-like feeling, that's literally gonna kill you. Don't you know how much more people died of Promaya than from stale air in a room? Promaya, Jesus, man, the deadly draft.
Oh, draft.
Yeah, okay, draft.
Yeah.
All right, we'll close it there. Thanks, Miroslav. Very helpful, man. Thank you. Not what we were looking for. Dev, what do you think? You got any ideas? Are you working on anything?
Huh?
Are you working on anything? You got any ideas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good. That's all right.
Yo, you guys coming down to studio?
For what?
The draft's in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The draft.
Yes.
All right.
We'll be right there.
Okay, Walter Wembanyama, Scott Henderson, that type of thing.
Yeah, the draft.
The draft.
Yeah, the draft. Yeah.
All right, welcome to DNVR Nuggets Draft Day Live. There's the fellas.
Oh, hey, the draft show.
Thursday
There's
night.
everybody.
Wow, what a treat.
Man, I swear to God, I was still like drinking champagne like 12 hours ago.
I don't know where you guys would be if I didn't tell you the draft was today.
It's so true.
Upstairs.
My God, in all sincerity, man, like you could see how late we are to everything. We're late on the show today. We're late at preparing for the draft. I mean, this is the most first world problems ever. And I'm being sincere about this.
Well, when you win a championship, I mean,
a lot of people don't know what it's
we're
like.
still on championship time.
Man, we joked about becoming the Smuggets. I'm watching all these little rumors out there. I'm watching these highlights of these draft guys, and I'm like, we're a championship team, man. This is little stuff.
I know, man. Chris Paul gets traded.
Whatever.
Bradley Beal. Come at me later.
Well,
When you
thanks,
win a
everybody.
championship, You truly don't have to care about anything.
You
else.
don't,
Like,
man. All this is beneath us.
My timeline has been so off that I had no idea it was the draft. I had no idea because usually you have to prepare for this weeks ago. Like pretty much a month and a half ago. Now we're just like, we're still celebrating.
Yeah.
In all sincerity, though, the Nuggets do have 3 picks, and we're going to be settled into these very chairs for the next, 4 hours or so as we go through the entirety of the first round of the NBA draft, covering all of the picks, what it means for the Nuggets, and just talking about all the stuff. And I got the fellas with me over here with a brand new flower shirt. It's Brennan Vogt.
This one's actually old. I haven't worn it in a while, so I don't blame you for not filing that away. But this is I've worn this one before.
Matches your eyes.
Thanks, man.
Over here, I've got Harrison Wind.
It doesn't, by the way.
I will be the only one providing real accurate draft takes today on this panel.
I can't wait. Hey, timestamp that because we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to that. Maybe or maybe not. And then over there, of course, Superstar Dev.
I just got to hit on one or two of them, and I'm gonna look like a genius. So I need one of them to pan out, and I'll be fine.
I'm just gonna remind everyone that I was the only one who had Christian Brown on my board last year, and I'm gonna ride that through all of my misses this year.
I can't wait for it.
You a broken clock is right twice a day. Is that the saying?
I think that's the saying. I'm more like once.
So let's get into this real quick. The Nuggets enter tonight's draft having made a series of trades.
Yes.
They currently hold the 29th pick, a first-round pick in this year's draft, albeit at the very end, a 32nd pick, and then a 37th pick. So they have 3 picks all right in a row. And from talking to people, and again, preparing for this draft, and just talking to some of the Nuggets people and draft people, they feel like the draft maybe falls off somewhere around 40, mid-40s. So I think that there is a sense that this is what I've been told. Top of this draft is obviously incredible. You got
I've heard it's pretty good.
Victor Wembanyama might be generational player.
He's the tall one.
He's the tall one.
Yeah,
you got
French
Scoot
dude.
Henderson. And you got a couple of those other guys that are intriguing. The middle teens, I think people are like, I don't know, kind of a crapshoot in there. Maybe some busts all sprinkled in.
Yeah.
The 20s to 30s, I think people are excited about as it being rich in role players. So I think that's why it's kind of interesting. It sounds like the first pick is already coming in right now. And you guys, you're never going to believe who it is. The very first pick in the draft for the San Antonio Spurs. It's, of course, Victor Wembanyama.
Wow.
Victor Wembanyama. And let's start here, though, honestly, guys. So, 7'4", the definition of a unicorn, the modern-day unicorn.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this when I was listening to Bill Simmons the other day. I mean, look at that guy, 7'4", the Frenchman. 220. I weigh 10 pounds more than this guy, and I'm a foot tall shorter.
You're only 210 these days? Wow.
No, more. 230.
Oh, you're 230.
235, really.
Oh, I was gonna
15
say.
pounds.
And you've been slimming down.
Well,
No, you look
been some
good.
long nights,
You look
know.
Vegas is only 2 weeks away.
But I was thinking about this. You know, Victor Wembanyama is a guy that is going to be in our lives for the next decade plus. You know what? Like, this is one of the cool things about the draft is you don't know, okay, which guy names pop up and you kind of dismiss them and then they becoming all-stars, whatever. Victor's a guy that we know. We're going to be talking about this guy for a long time.
Yeah, whether it works out or not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're compared to LeBron, and honestly, even going further back, the greatest prospects of all time from every era, that's the bar. And if this guy hits, it'll be in a way we haven't seen before. And if he busts, we'll be talking forever about how did that happen? How is that even possible? He already, to me, is kind of in this Zion camp of sometimes physically, things are like, man, that's too good to be true.
Right.
And with Zion, that's been the case. And I think with Wemby, that's obviously the big question.
Yeah. What do you make of Wemby? Do you have a Wemby take?
Well, first off, I think it's incredible. First off, he has so much, like, so high of expectations from him that there's going to be a lot of people that are rooting against him, and they're going to hit on some things just because when you're pegged as the next LeBron, you have to be LeBron or you're going to be, quote-unquote, a bust.
Right.
The thing with it is he's been in the public eye for so long that I'm shocked that I'm just now realizing and knowing that he has Kyrie Irving-like takes. Like,
He does?
Is
Wait,
that,
what?
like,
Wait, hold on a
The
second.
earth is flat?
he has like some of that stuff in him. He just came out with an interview where he's saying some like, it's like philosophical, like, you know, your drunk uncle type of takes right now, but I know it's going to get crazier, you know, as time goes out. And then also just looking at his like warm up routines and things like that, like everyone's going to say that his stature is not that, and it isn't, but he's just like, no, other people need to, you know, be more like this and stuff like that. So I think he's going to be a world-class talent, but he's never going to be LeBron.
You think?
Well,
It's just
because
hard
he's
to
in
be
San
that.
Antonio, and
How are you
they'll
gonna be
shut
that?
that stuff down real quick. They won't let him get the Kyrie Irving takes off in San Antonio.
Yeah.
What do you make of him, Lind? Are you as high as everybody else seems to be on him?
No, because I'm just worried he's gonna get hurt. Like a big man who's had foot injuries before. Like, I think we've just seen how that story goes a lot. But I mean, he's an incredible talent. I also love how it really feels like Victor Wembanyama loves the game of basketball.
That's the green
You know,
flag.
like he was just playing in like a championship game in the French league a week ago or so. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to play summer league. Like, I'm not going to be load managing throughout the year. Actually, bro, you're going to San Antonio. You will be. But like, he doesn't want to do, like, he just wants to play. I really feel like he loves the game. And that's I think my favorite part about him.
They did already shut him down for Summer League, though, right? Like
No.
they said-
He said
he was going to play.
He said he wants to play, but
Right.
didn't the Spurs say that
They're going to
the
load
chances
manage.
I
of
don't
him
think
playing-
anything official has come
Yeah.
out, but I think he will probably get a little load managed.
Somebody's upset that I'm mispronouncing it, saying I'm willfully mispronouncing it. So I want to get this right because I don't like people mispronouncing it.
How do you say it?
Wembanyama.
Wembanyama.
What? How am I wrong on this?
Victor Wembanyama. No, that's right.
So I don't know. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize, but I think I have Wembanyama right.
I
So
mean, that's
don't-
how everybody says it.
Somebody's very upset at my pronunciation. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. We've been pronouncing
These guys, he
Nikola
just got
Jokic's
drafted.
name
I'm
wrong
trying
for
to get it
8
right
years,
here.
but-
So if I have it wrong, I apologize.
I also,
Victor W.
do you guys have questions about, obviously we don't really know what he's like. We haven't watched a ton of him, but there's a little bit about, I wonder if he's going to be the best version of himself as this prospect in terms of, is there a weird threshold cross when you're a 7'4" dude? So much of his game is perimeter oriented. Is that almost somehow maybe not getting the most out of what he could do, right? And his separation as a physical talent. I do think there's a little bit of putting the cart in front of the horse with, we talk about how he can shoot. Statistically, he's not a sharpshooter, right? He's not actually hitting these shots yet. He just, as a 7'4" guy, can hit these fluid shots. So there are some questions, but I think the reality is when you're 7'4" and you can move like you're below 6'8", you are a generational prospect. And I think he's where he should be now in terms of how he's talked about. But like Dev said, I mean, there's a lot of middle ground between a good prospect and LeBron James. So the pressure is there.
When are the Spurs going to be a real, I'll call it a real threat to the Nuggets? And that doesn't mean like they're going to be better than the Nuggets, but when do you think it's going to start mattering? You know what I mean? Because they have a young team. They have some young pieces, some young players.
Maybe like next year, man.
What? They could be an 8 seed.
People think Victor Wembanyama is going to like flirt with the All-Star team next year. That's how good they think he's going to be in year one.
Okay.
And so that's why you hear stuff about how San Antonio like wants to be aggressive in building its roster somewhat quickly around him, because there's not going to be this waiting period with him that you even still have with a lot of number one picks where, yeah, things don't really get serious until like year 3.
Yeah.
There's a chance that he comes in and is an all-star level player from the first game of next season.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a little longer than that. But I do think it's something that during the Jokic era, we're going to be talking about the Spurs as like, okay, now there's a challenge. It's a weird player. And if he is an off-ball rim protector, I mean, that's the type of guy at that length, that could be a challenge.
I think that they're about 3-4 years out. They're going to need a couple more hits. Like the difference between them and the Thunder is the Thunder have other talented players around them that they could build around. The Spurs have no one else. They're going to have to make a big splash, but they don't have the pieces. They don't have the players to make that splash. They have this superstar who hasn't touched the basketball in the NBA yet, and that's it. So I do think that they're a couple years removed, but if he is what they say he is, it does speed up the process a lot more.
Yeah, and of course Popovich still there here. You know, we'll see how quickly they rebuild things. We do have a second pick is in by Shams Charania. They have not announced it yet, although they're announcing it right now. Dale, I'm told, can you cut the music on that? People are saying that's way too loud musically. So Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller? Big debate over the last couple of weeks. It turns out this is our first weird domino to fall.
Wow.
It looks like the Charlotte Hornets, yep, sure enough, they have taken Brandon Miller. Now, this is interesting for a couple reasons. We'll get to him, the player, but does this mean that there might be a trade going on? Does this mean now Scoot seemed like the guy most people wanted at number 2? Portland now on the clock going to get him. Does that make him more likely to take Scoot and move on from Dame?
God, I hope so. The number one thing I want tonight is a Dame Lillard trade. Coming into today, I want a Dame Lillard trade. I want as many big trades as possible tonight. You know, that's another privilege of still being on championship time. You can just hope for as much chaos around the Nuggets as possible.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is probably the perfect time to trade Dame Lillard. If you're the Blazers, you have Scoot Henderson now. You can draft him. He can be a franchise guy at point guard. Like, the offers, I'm sure, are going to start rolling in for Damian Lillard right now. And if you're Portland, like, this is the perfect time to consider him.
I don't really get into them much, but I love to just watch drama, so reality,
Me too.
TV and things like that, just to see like how things go bad. And that's what it is with this Portland situation, because I mean, Dame is rumored to always be out of there. Then there's Anthony Simons, who is another good guard that's on a big contract. And now you have Scoot Henderson. So it's like you have 3 point guards pretty much, or just small guards,
Right.
that you have to do something with. And Portland's in a situation that they have to draft, best available. So now they put themselves in a very tough spot. It's like, hey, do we get rid of Lillard because we have this, another guard that's kind of the same, or do we just try to make it work? And I don't think that you're in a situation that you could just make it work. So now I think that it puts the timestamp on, like, hey, damn, we already get this fake loyalty thing. Like, move on. Let's just move on.
I don't think it's fake, but
I don't think there's a trade they can make with this pick that puts them anywhere near the Denver tier. And I think that's the question you have to ask. And I think if that's the answer, then the next move is, I think you take Scoot and you trade Dame. I think it's time to reset.
that's the clear move.
I think it's time to reset.
It's not the clear financial move, though, and that's always the toughest thing for an owner to do. Is
He's
like,
the
hey,
local star. He's the guy. He's why they make money.
You could just keep everything going. But I will say, I do think that even Dame, it probably feels right. I'm with you, though. I'm annoyed with the story to where I'm like, just do or don't, man.
Also, there's a third option no one talks about.
What's that?
He could play a little defense.
How are you coming in today? Is that the hottest? Do you have something hotter stored up, or is that the
No,
hottest?
that's about it. I just want to say, and all due respect to a basketball legend, not talking about Dame, I watched Facu get to the rim in the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, there's a step he can look in the mirror.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We have a new pick in. What do we have here? How is that music, chat? Let us know. Turned it way down, so hopefully that fixed the problem there. And number 3 pick, of course, to Portland, guys. 1,
Pick's
2, 3.
already
We
in.
knew who they
Wow.
were going to be. It is, of course, Scoot Henderson. I don't know what's going on with our graphic there. Did it? Kel's got a lot of things going on here as we get this thing off the ground. Yeah, Scoot Henderson, so he's going to Portland. And I do think that makes for an interesting offseason. By the way, there was also talk about a potential Zion Williamson trade. I don't think that's happening. It
Doesn't
probably
seem like
it
it.
would have happened, I think, before the draft, but you never know. Maybe this is a thing that drops in short order. I'm going to give my first hot take of the game, of the night.
What's that?
I don't feel confident in any of my takes, by the way, but I'm going to pretend I do.
Love that.
I like Brandon Miller more than I like Scoot Henderson.
I don't think that's that hot of a take.
I mean, I guess he
the
went.
Charlotte Hornets apparently don't.
That's what makes it a hot take.
Michael Jordan doesn't.
I'm agreeing with the Charlotte Hornets. But
I don't think it's hot, man. Look, like Scoot Henderson is 6'2". Brandon Miller is 6'9".
Bingo.
It's tough
Yeah.
to build a team around a 6'2" point guard unless that point guard is Steph Curry. Like
I
that's
agree.
just hard to do in this version of the NBA. Like Brandon Miller, 6'9". Like, yeah, he might not be the best player on a championship team, and ultimately that might be disappointing at number 2. But if he can be like a Mikal Bridges type on like what Mikal Bridges was like on Phoenix, or like your second or third best player in that mold, that's fine. Like I think that's what you should shoot for. And I mean, he's got an opportunity to be that guy.
You're also arguing like Bentleys and Rolls Royce. Like you're not really arguing 2 regular guys. These are like top echelon type of players where you're just like, hey, which one has a better fit? Which one do you think pans out at the next level? You have a 6'9", 3-and-D guy who has been all-star pretty much. He was the best player on the best team in college. And you're like, hey, I could go around that. With Scoot Henderson, there is some like unknown. He hasn't played, like he didn't play in college, so you didn't get to see him, in the March Madness or anything like that. He's a workout warrior that you can see right now, but he's a 6'2" explosive guard. And how much does that pan out right now? So I did think it makes it easy.
There's the subplot to this too, which is Woj has been saying that it's going to be Brandon Miller. A little bit of pushback from Shams saying actually it might be Scoot. Here's the latest Woj tweet. All along,
I love
the
it. You're
entire
right.
Charlotte Hornets organization has been all in
I'm
on
sure.
Brandon
Yeah.
Miller.
You know what's funny, man? The Woj Shams like battle is honestly maybe the number one thing of the NBA draft.
I
It's
know.
actually maybe the funny. You're right. All along.
All
Not-
along.
Not an accident by any means. So we already have another pick in.
We're ahead.
RTV is having issues right now too, so we're a little behind on a couple different fronts here. But let me ask this one, and I'll start with you, Vote.
Uh-oh.
How many MVP candidates do we have in the top 3 pick? Future MVP candidates.
In this draft?
You have the top 3 guys that just went. 'Cause I think there's a drop off after that. People debated 2 and 3 or whatever, but
Oh, I think it's hard to say more than one, to be honest.
so you think 1?
I think one is
How many All-Stars?
4 to 5.
No. In the top 3.
Oh, the
I'm just
top
top 3.
three.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, that would be really tough.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 2, maybe 3. You never know.
All right. Thanks for the takes,
What do you
man.
want me to say? I don't know the
Both
future.
bringing it, man.
There's 3 guys. I think one is an MVP guy, and the other 2 are less good.
All righty. Thanks for the take.
I don't know what you wanted me to say there, bro. You do it. How many?
I think Victor's an all-star. I think
That's hot.
And I think Brandon Miller. So I'll say 2.
You don't think Scoot Henderson's going to
Wow,
make
that
an
was
all-star
really
team?
detailed.
Thank you. I just say this is what we're doing. Amen Thompson
It
going
wasn't.
number 4 to the Houston Rockets.
You don't think Scoot Henderson's going to be an all-star?
I'm just so low on him, man. Like
Wow.
You have to be a Derrick Rose, John Morant.
It
type
would
to
be
me.
pretty stunning if he was not an all-star, I think.
Really.
Yeah. Stunning.
He's like not that good a finisher at the rim. I'm just saying, you gotta be.
I had to tell you the draft was
Jamal
today,
Murray.
and
Jamal
you're coming
Murray.
out with this take.
I'm just saying, Jamal Murray has yet to be an
He
all-star.
was also the 7th pick.
I don't think he's going to be an all-star because
Thank you,
he's going to
Dev.
be behind ball. Like, he's never going to take that light.
Well, you're thinking Brandon Miller is behind ball. Scoot
Yeah.
will be in Portland. I mean, they
it's
might
even
hand him
worse.
the keys.
It's even worse. You're
Yeah.
going to be behind Lillard
Thank you, Dylan.
or whoever comes there. And he's in the West. Like, there's not going to be many opportunities for him to just shine and be that guy. I think he's going to be good or just like okay. He's going to be in the Jamal tier, but he's not going to be Jamal. So
I think there
that's
could
not
be
an
3
all-star.
all-stars, probably.
Houston taking Amen Thompson. He was been, pretty much the guy that everybody had number 4 there. What can you tell us about him?
He's old, right? Very old.
No.
Amen Thompson's 20 years old. One of the Thompson twins from the Overtime Elite program. People talk about him as like one of the greatest athletes in the draft ever. Like,
Yeah.
these two twins are incredible athletes. He's 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan, can jump out of the gym, great finisher, decent passer, and the defense. There's a ton of upside there just with how long and how athletic he and his brother are. So this is just another like high upside hooper in Houston.
And I think sometimes when we think athleticism, naturally in this league, we think vertical. But with this guy, there's a lot more to it than that. Like, he is shifty with the ball. He's just one of those guys that your first note is he moves different. He moves different than his peers.
Yeah, but the problem is he can't shoot the ball, and he's at 6'6".
Yeah.
all defensive type of guy, and he's number 4? We're at number 4 right
Number
now?
4.
And he's going into a system that they want to score. They want to just shoot. They want a gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where he can stand out. But I do think it's going to be difficult for him to just go out there and go get a basket, surrounded about other basket getters.
Well, the good news is they have Jalen Green to still take all the shots.
Every shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're true. That's true.
I know somebody just posted all the young players that Houston has. Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Kevin Porter Jr., Tari Eason, Jayshawn Tate, which is a
Oh, it
weird
looks
one there.
great
and
on
Kenyon Martin
paper,
Jr. It is. Like,
Yeah.
you read on paper, you're like, man, that's a lot of
talent.
prospects. And I
Can't
still
wait to
look at them.
watch.
I'm
That's
like,
the talent.
I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know, man. I don't know.
The shooting's a huge red flag, but I mean, he's got everything else to be just an absolute game changer.
Who would you pick now? If you had to pick 3 guys of that young core and get rid of everybody else, who would you pick?
Of these 4.
Sengun, I'd take.
Oh.
Number 1.
I can't throw to you. You got mad last time I asked a hypothetical.
I'd take Amen Thompson.
I
Really?
get mad that you asked.
For sure. And then who we got? Jalen Green, Kevin Porter
Jabari
Jr.,
Smith,
Jabari Smith.
Tari Eason. Jayshawn Tate making the cut on this graphic is hilarious.
Then you probably got to
Not him.
take Jabari Smith.
I agree. I agree.
So I would not take Jalen Green.
That's tough, man.
You think you got to take Jalen Green?
Do you? Why?
He might be right. Actually, I
Why?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Harden staying in Philly.
And the next up, by the way, the team with the worst luck, the Detroit Pistons, somehow falling all the way to number 5 in this draft. Just absolutely brutal. But before we get there was the trade tonight that I want to talk about because this one affects the Nuggets. For a lot of this draft stuff is like down the line, these tanking teams.
Yeah. Who cares?
Today there was a huge trade, and it was a shocker. Chris Paul is going to the Golden State Warriors. Chris Paul, who's been a rival for the last decade, a rival with Steph Curry, a hated rival, is now going to the Golden State Warriors. Going to the Wizards is Jordan Poole, a protected 2030 first, so that's a long way away, and a 2027 second. This one, it's basically a Jordan Poole, Chris Paul swap. I got to say, man, first of all, I don't know if it's going to work out for them, but this is a wild trade to me.
Yeah, it's a weird trade. It's not one that anyone had pitched or soft pitched or talked about. It did feel like it came out of nowhere. Right off the bat, I kind of want to ask you guys, does it move you more than the Beal trade, just instinctually? Does it strike more, I wouldn't say fear, because we're feeling smug up here, but...
No.
The Beal trade is more...
No, neither moves me. Honestly, the Beal trade might move me a little more. Because you cannot rely on Chris Paul to stay healthy in this year of 2023, 2024. You just can't, man. You can't.
What about you, Deb?
The Beal trade moves me
question.
a lot more. It's just a lot more scoring over there, and they're already a team that you have to take seriously.
Yeah.
With a new year, they're going to start from the beginning with those guys. So I think that moves you a bit more. Also, Chris Paul, he is what he is, and he's taking the ball out of other guys' hands on a team that you have to have fast-paced offense. You have to put the ball in Curry's hands. He's taken away from that, so that does not scare me at all. It actually makes me like, oh, whatever. Yeah, you guys got Chris Paul. Good job. Even though I really do like Chris Paul, but just not at this age. And then they're getting him for $30 million. That does not move me whatsoever.
It doesn't move me either.
What would be the Nuggets equivalent of the Warriors signing Chris Paul?
Earl Boykins right now.
No, come on, man. Come on, man.
He had that ready to go.
I more just mean like Chris Paul was the guy that they owned.
had to get an Earl
They
Boykins
dominated
reference in this
him.
show
Like
somehow.
they beat him, they broke him, and they hated him. All this, and now he's on the team. It's got to feel weird. Like
I think that's
if I was
weird.
a Warrior, I think there's Warriors fans out there. In fact, I have a few. They're like, man, I don't know. Like we're anti Chris Paul over
But
here.
like, what's gonna happen? Draymond punches him in the face.
Oh, that will happen. Like, if you could bet on Draymond punch and Chris Paul getting into something
Draymond's going
next
to jail
season,
if he puts his
lock
hands
that
on Chris
in
Paul.
on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Jordan Poole, they just was like, hey, this is competitive nature. He's going to jail if you put your hand on
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Paul.
I don't know if there is an equivalent though for the Nuggets.
Oh,
like
Nuggets trade equivalent.
D'Angelo Russell or something like maybe. Man,
Danilo Gallinari.
Rudy. It might be Rudy Gobert actually. Because you got point guard, so it's your best player's position.
It's DeAndre Ayton. Backup. You brought this up at lunch today, but you know, Paul was still a good player at times in this regular season. In the playoffs, you could argue when the Suns lost him, they got a little quicker, they got a little faster.
Yep.
That is something the Warriors do when they're at their best. You know, does this detract from that a
Man.
little bit?
I think it's a great point. I could see a scenario where, like, Chris Paul starts the season on the Warriors, things are going great, and eventually his minutes dwindle, and then we get to the playoffs, and it's like, great, Chris Paul isn't in the playoff rotation.
Right.
Like, I could kind of see
that would be a wild one.
I can kinda see
A
that.
backup point guard for 30
I mean, he's already going to be
million.
coming off the bench.
I know that's a lot of money for.
By
million.
the way, chat, for what it's worth, some reports that he's not going to be waived. I see a lot of you saying that he will. So I think the intention is to play
DeMarcus
him.
Cousins, that's a good one.
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's
you're right.
great.
We
A guy
did
who
have
was
him.
just on
You're
the
right.
We did that.
You're right.
We did it.
You know what? It wasn't that cool. I guess. Actually,
And
you know
he
what? I
got
ended
into
up
a
like.
fight with a teammate on the bench.
From a
in
distance,
the
it was kind of
playoffs.
cool.
Turns out it was probably the teammate. That was.
Well, maybe it was both.
Maybe it was
I
both.
think it was probably both. Yeah.
How about this one? So we're through 4 picks. We're waiting on Detroit now at number 5.
The big board too to go to.
Oh, we do have a big. Well, let's wait on the big board. But real quick, because the 4 guys that have picked are the 4 leaders in the Rookie of the Year, sort of rankings. I'll start with you, Dev. Who do you think gets Rookie of the Year? One of these 4 guys, the field. Do you have a guy that you're kind of placing your money on?
If you go off of stats alone, it's going to be Scoot. I do think that they're going to give it to Victor W. just because he's Victor W.
You think?
Yeah, and especially if he gets to play. It just depends on if he's healthy enough to play.
Pop redshirting him.
Yeah, and also just like the big guys, like they get hurt in their first year, especially.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just been happening, and I don't want that to happen, but that's just what it is. But I think Scoot's going to have the opportunity to play from day one, and he's going to have the numbers for it. Like Amen Thomas is not going to have numbers; he's going to play a whole bunch. So I just think that it goes off of minutes and points per game, and I think that's going to be Scoot.
I think it's going to be Victor Wembanyama.
Just no questions asked.
No question, man. I mean, the only question might be if he can play in 65 games. That's the new rule.
Right.
That might be the only thing that prevents him from winning Rookie of the Year because, I mean, his numbers are going to be crazy. He's probably going to block four to five shots a game.
Yeah.
That could get him there alone.
If Portland, let's say hypothetically, they trade Dame, is Scoot starting? Are they just
Yeah, I mean,
right
of
away,
course.
right?
Yeah.
So
They started shading
right.
Sharp a little last year.
So I wonder, and balls in his hands on a team that might be okay with him getting a lot of shots up,
yeah, that's going to be 4 easy wins next year in the Northwest Division.
but maybe a lot of points. So I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it. But Victor, I think, has to be the favorite.
It is a weird, like Portland and Utah have been the like teams. This is how you know you switch eras. Is it maybe next year it's Oklahoma City and Minnesota? You know what I mean? It's just weird. Denver has survived through a whole evolution of the Northwest, but stayed
The
at the
Nuggets'
top.
odds to win the Northwest Division are going to be giant next season.
Yeah.
You're going to have to bet like 1,000 to win.
Also,
$10.
Is Vegas finally going to put the over up? Like every year, the Nuggets hit the over. And every year they come in real tentative.
They'll hit it again next year.
All right, as we're waiting for Detroit to make a pick. Actually, it looks like the pick is in for Detroit.
Yeah, the tweet is in.
The tweet is in?
The tweet is in.
All right, let's go ahead and do it then. This is kind of cool, actually. Pick is in.
Yeah, this show
And it
is
is Oscar Thompson. I said that right? The other Thompson twin, the second one. So they go back-to-back in the draft. That's pretty great. Did I get it wrong?
You just willfully mispronounce
I mean, I don't
it.
know.
I would just say Azure. If I had to guess.
Azure.
It just sounds cooler.
All right.
Victor W.
Amen and Azure.
You're 3 for 5 on pronunciations.
It's going to be like that all night long.
And it's willful.
And it's willful. So it's kind of cool. You know, brothers taken in the draft back-to-back, both in the lottery, both in the top 5.
Yeah.
That being said, he's a little bit more of the defensive-minded twin. Is that the rap on him, Win?
They're both pretty similar. He's got great defensive tools as well. He is also 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan.
Wait, are they the same measurables?
They're the same measurables. They're pretty similar players.
And chromosomes.
Yeah. A lot of people liked Asar more than Amin because Asar has been, like you said, a little more impactful defensively and has shown more as a shooter. They both have a long ways to go on their shots, but Asar has shown a little bit more as a shooter. But, I mean, the athleticism is crazy. The defensive upside is crazy. I mean, he could be a great fit, I think, next to a Cade Cunningham. Like, that's a nice backcourt. You might have to get some shooting elsewhere, but, like, those two together, 6'8" and 6'6", like, that's exciting, actually.
I love our resident Warriors fan, William Mitchell. He's in hell. He's in hell. So if you wondered how it was going, and by the way, the homie D-Line, who is out in Serbia, he attended the Derby tonight. So to all the Serbs, he was able to be back at Stark Arena, his old stomping grounds. And I don't know if he'll tell us who he was cheering for, which team, and divide half of his Serbian audience.
He probably shouldn't.
He probably can't do it. But he had a good take. He said we're post-Warriors. I don't know if I would say that's true just yet or not. We got to wait and see everything that plays out. And I just have, too much respect for their style of play and Steph and all that stuff. But I will say, man, Chris Paul, it does feel a little post-Warriors. I'll be honest, I did not think we were post-Warriors, but I do think we are more post-Warriors now that they have Chris Paul.
Just think about trash talking a guy all year, or actually for the last 5 years, and just taking all these takes on him and doing all this stuff, and then you walk into work one day and he's like your colleague. Like, wait, what? Like, what do we do there? Like, I walk into the bar and I'm like, James Merlot. Like, that would just be kind of crazy. I just think that would be a rough spot to be in. And then you're like, he's getting paid more than me, or the same as me, and things like that. Like, I do think that we're closer to the post Warriors at this point. I know that there will be a point where the Warriors are going to look great, and Chris Paul's going to be playing great, and they're going to be like, hey, what do we do here? And then we're going to be like, oh, they funneled out.
The thing about empires and dynasties is they don't disappear; they decay, and so they're still there. They're still a failing state. It's not just one day there was no more Rome. So It's
The final chapter might not be championship, but it might be upset.
but yeah,
a first round upset.
but the descent has begun. And
I mean, the question with the Warriors, though, kind of coming into this offseason was, is this the end of like the contending version of the Warriors? Like, are we past the Warriors? Because there were the Draymond Green rumors for a little bit. Like there was talk of, are things going to look a lot different? But no, it seems like the general sense is they want to run it back as much as possible with the key guys.
Yeah. Now that we got a little break here as we wait for the next pick to come up, why don't we start with Harrison's guys?
Oh,
let's take a look at Harrison's guys. We all have. I mean, the Nuggets are not for a while, so we got some time here. Win, walk us through your guys here, and this is, of course, for the 29th pick.
Yeah. Colby Jones is my number one guy.
Wow.
He is a 6'6" Bruce Brown. He is potentially the Bruce Brown replacement.
Man, I hate that we made an even taller Bruce Brown.
But he's a big guard. I love big guards. I just think it's so important to have size there. And that's why Colby Jones is number one on my board.
All right, we got a new pick in. Orlando is picking with the number 6 pick. And what do we have, Kale? We have our first little bit of curveball here. Anthony Black. Anthony Black. He breaks from a little bit of what people had. What can you tell me about this guy?
Anthony Black, 6'6" point guard. Floor general. Got a good feel for the game. Not a great shooter, but he's got a lot of length, a lot of size, and that's what the Magic like. So I don't think it's that big of a surprise.
so true.
They do have a type.
They're like, hang on, a switchable long guy?
Black Magic. Got to be a good nickname for him.
Ooh, I actually kind of like that.
Let's go back to your board, though. Let's go back to Wynn's board. So you got, all right.
Anthony, Colby Jones, number one, again. Big point guard, 6'6", can operate an offense, and I just think that's so important, in the backcourt these days. I've got Jordan Walsh at number 2, 3-and-D, Arkansas. Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's brother, number 3.
Yeah.
Does a little bit of everything for you. Number 4, Jaime got some dog in him, Hawkes. We'll get to that later. And then number 5, the guy everybody wants the Nuggets to take, Andre Jackson Jr.
So you have Jaime 4th on this. I mean, so is he that you have him behind those guys, or how is it?
I don't know.
I mean, because Jaime, I think, is going to be the first of those guys taken.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so it's an interesting list. Let's go to my list in large part because. Do you have it there, Kale?
This is the worst day of Kale's life. I am chilling.
It's the exact same list. Jaime Hawkes. But it is in a different order. All right, my guy Jaime. Here's the thing. I think he's going at like 20, 22, 23.
Probably.
I don't think he's going to be around. My real guy that I think's a lock to be here, Jordan Walsh. I'm all in on this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like this dude's defense. He's unbelievable. I compared him to Dalsim. He's got the arms and legs that just go on for forever.
Nobody has known or caught on to that reference all day.
And the chat has my back here. They're Street Fighter fans.
He's 0 for like 39.
No, I'm telling you, I
can't believe he brought it back live on the show.
Because I work with children. People are going to know Dalsim, man. He has the long arms. He can kick you from far away. But Jordan Walsh, in all sincerity, man, this guy can really defend. Just so long, so ragey. You talk about got that dog in him. If we had a got that dog in him rankings, he would be in the S tier, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That guy plays incredibly hard. Chris Murray has a lot of, talents. I think he's a very interesting guy. He might go too early as well. Andre Jackson Jr. started last week as like the 40th pick in almost every mock draft. Now he's probably too high. He might go before 29. I think he's going to. And then I'm with you. I put Colby Jones at the end because you berated me into it.
I did nothing of the sort.
You strongly encouraged me to, and you convinced me.
I barely tried to do that.
Well, I didn't really have a great 5th one. But for me, Jordan Walsh, to me, I like that guy. I kind of fell in love with him over the last 2 days, watching the 2 days I put into this. Look, I was sick after the parade, until 2 days ago.
You don't have to apologize for not preparing for the draft.
Jordan Walsh, though, to me, looks like a guy that the question with him is his offense. He's a terrible finisher at the rim. He doesn't really have an off-the-dribble game. He's going to be more of like a forward, combo forward, or power forward, and he doesn't shoot the ball well. But I like his shot. His shot to me is there's two types of non-shooters. Guys that look like, man, no touch. There's no Jared Vanderbilt
That's the
falls
one.
in this,
Yep.
you know, like
Yep.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was this guy. You're like, there's no saving that. And then there's other guys where it's like the numbers don't add up, but you know what? The form looks good. Everything
Yeah.
looks fluid. I think he's that. If he is a guy on the Nuggets' timeline, he probably is on the P-Watt timeline, you know, red shirt. Just work on your handle, work on your jump shooting. And if you can just get that up to an okay level, defensively, I'm there.
Yeah, I really like him too. I think we've all come around to him potentially being a guy they could look to there. And I mean, he fits the Calvin Booth mold.
Yeah.
Big for his position. You know, he's a 3, I think, but could also play some 4. And he's, 6'9" with a 7-foot plus wingspan. Athletic, defends like a madman, like really versatile there. So he just slots in as a guy we could see the Nuggets taking.
I just want everybody to know the chat has my back. This is what it's
They
like
did
to
have your
work.
back.
This is
They
what
did
it's like
have
to
your
work here. I make references that are great. Nobody gets them, and then I get berated for having weird
That is
references.
true, actually. That does happen a lot.
Jordan Walsh, do you have a take on him? Either of you guys?
Well, he's on my list. I thought we were going to get around to that, but yeah, I think that's truly a guy.
Whoa,
I
Diva
thought that was
Dev over
truly a
there.
guy that that I think fits the Nuggets mold. I think that they are going to go after him. So like this makes sense that he is on so many people's trade.
Trade alert.
We have a trade alert.
Oh my
Everyone
God, I
check your
don't even know
phones.
what this trade
Check your
is.
phones.
And the
What do we
pick is
got?
in.
Wait, are we doing? Was it pick is in or trade alert?
It's both.
It's both.
My goodness.
Indiana
see.
is selecting. Oh, you say it, and they're trading him to Washington.
Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, you were going to do this, huh?
Yeah.
The next pick, Bilal Coulibaly, and he is
Nice.
being traded to Washington, the Wizards.
Wow.
What can you tell me about him?
Well, this is actually
Did I get it
Victor
right? Not at
Wembanyama's.
all. Oh man.
This is Victor Wembanyama's teammate, actually, in France.
Right, that's right.
And everybody started falling in love with this guy over the last couple weeks because his measurables are insane.
Yeah.
6'7" with a 7'2" wingspan. He's got a chance to be, up there with the best defensive players in this draft, along with Victor Wembanyama. On ball, off ball, blocking shots, deflections. He's got a chance to just be a game changer defensively. Great athlete as well. He's got to iron out the skill parts of his game.
I love the I love the draft so much. I love the draft.
He's got to actually become a good player, but
He
the
struggles currently
tools
with offense
are
and
there.
defense.
The measurables are
the
there.
tools.
And
The
I mean, if
wingspan.
you're looking at a team like Washington, yeah, why wouldn't you just take a chance on pure upside? And that's what this dude is.
I love the ringer comps him to Torrey Craig. Perfectly described Torrey Craig there. Just the basketball skills part are a little uneven, but
If they're only getting Torrey Craig, that's not a good sign. But
It's probably not what you want there.
yeah.
there you go. Let's go to votes top 5 though. Let's
Well,
go to votes, guys.
You guys will be loved to know that right before I published it, I realized it was the exact same as both of yours.
You know how they
not
say
quite,
the
not
draft
quite.
is a lot of groupthink?
Yeah.
We feel that.
So I changed it up.
that's
I like
accurate.
some of the names you guys just put. I want to change it a little bit. One, Chris Murray. Don't think they have a chance of getting him, but you can cheat with these. That's actually the way to do it. I've learned over the years.
Yeah.
So I'm cheating. Chris Murray, play now guy, all around guy, 6'8", 6'11" wingspan, NBA body. He can just play tomorrow. Colby Jones. The scouting report is just Bruce Brown. I'm with Harrison on that. And we're all looking for a Bruce Brown replacement.
Dude, this is such a classic. Bruce came here, played well, won a championship, and we're
Yeah.
all gonna start comping everybody. to
Looking
Bruce
for the next
Brown.
Bruce and Christian
I
Brown.
hope that catches on. Make that catch on, people in the chat.
Speaking of which, last name Brown that everyone loves in Denver. How about Kobe Brown? I'm going to zag a little bit here.
Man, can we imagine 3 Browns?
So-
this really would be Brown.
Kobe Brown is
Man, Browntown population
Brown
going
is
up.
Population 3.
Kobe Brown is allegedly a guard, but he's like 6'8". He's huge. I think he's like 250, right, Andre? He's a hoss.
Yeah, he is a hoss.
He's a mismatched nightmare. He'll work you in the post. You lead with his outlet skill. That's like his top skill. He's a sick outlet passer, which makes him really fun in transition with Christian and Peyton. He's
You know
big.
what? You were so smart for taking it.
He's big as hell. I just think he's really, really fun. I think, there's some one-on-one defensive impact, but moving his feet is a bit of a question. He's not that agile, and he's a little big, But I like this idea of stacking mismatch potential on top of itself. The Nuggets have a lot of mismatch potential. That's where he fits in. My only note on Andre Jackson Jr., Mr. Nugget, question mark?
Oh, big Mr. Nugget
And
energy.
then
Yeah, he
5,
would
let's
be a
mess around
contender.
and get a big in here. A funky big, too. He's not really that big, 6'9", but Trace Jackson Davis, the big from Indiana, can pass a little bit, smart player. He's not really a Jokic recreation, but why not?
You know what he is, though? A TLA. We have MPJ, we have KCP.
There we go.
We could take another TLA there, 3-letter acronym. All right, another pick is in. Of course, we had the Indiana and Washington swap, and so that means Indiana is taking Jarris Walker. I got that one right, didn't I?
I don't know. Maybe.
None of us know. All right, walk us through this one.
Jarris Walker is 6'7" with a 7'3" wingspan, but he's a big man. He's a natural power forward. Defense is his calling card. He's a tough, physical player. He kind of looks like a football player out there, but that's kind of his frame. And he's a competitor. Like that's the thing people talk about him with. He's got all the physical tools. He can defend multiple positions. He's got a great motor. He's like kind of a bit of a throwback big though. But if you think about him on Indiana, which is where he's going, right?
Yeah.
He could be a nice fit next to Miles Turner.
Okay. Miles Turner going to be there for a while? Or
I don't know, man. Maybe.
In an update of the most important race of the night, Adrian Wojnarowski just tweeted out the Pacers are trading Koulibaly to the Wizards. 5 minutes behind Shams. That's a tough look, man. That's a tough. It took 5 minutes to get
After he
confirmation.
victory lapped 10 minutes ago?
Dude, confirmation's like the easiest thing to get.
Man.
That's tough. That's a tough one for Woj. I'm going to call it a draw so far. All right, let's throw it over to Dev. Let's take a look at Dev's guys. I can't wait to see what this list is.
Check him out. Dev's guys. Dev's guys.
Derrick Rose.
OJ Mayo?
Dude, you got my guy Jordan. Are you going to walk us through this, Dev? Or?
Absolutely. I wanted people to look at it because it's just so much different than you guys.
It is.
Jordan Walsh, number 1. I'm so mad you got him 1 and I don't.
Yeah. So the
my
thing
guy.
with these 4 out of these 5 guys, there's one thing that all of them have in common. They're all truly Calvin guys. These are Cal guys.
Harrison,
right.
do you want to chime in? Harrison, let's do it. Let's do it, Harrison.
Well, let me tell you why.
Okay.
4 of those 5 are 5-star recruits.
Okay.
And that's what he's into. That's what he loves. Is 5-star recruits. We have Jordan Walsh here, who, I mean, everybody knows the 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, we spent like 5 minutes on him
Exactly.
already.
He was 25th nationally.
It's kind of boring.
25th nationally. I mean, that's the guy. Keontae George, the Big 12 Rookie of the Year. He was number 9 nationally in high school. This is a bucket, like in every sense of the word. He gets to the rim. He scores in every single way, and he has an NBA-ready body, coming out. We get to Derek Whitehead. This is the guy that, like, he probably is not going to be there for Denver, but this is as much as a check-in on Calvin's guys and a Nugget guy. He was the number 1 player in high school, so that really comes with that. He comes in already with injuries, so that's a Nugget thing. And also he's he's the 3rd youngest player in the draft right now. He went to Duke, Mr. USA, same high school as Cade. He's good. He's truly good.
Yeah.
Amari Bailey. We'll just skip over.
You're
to that.
skipping over my guy?
Yeah, because I'm going to go with my 5 stars first.
All right.
Amari Bailey. His mom is a baddie. I'm talking about bad. You want to talk about nice-looking women? Drake used to go to his games because he was dating his mom. Wait,
what?
And that's
she's
why
a 5-star.
he's number 5 on your big board.
But also on top of that, Amari Bailey. Amari Bailey is one of the top-ranked players in the country as well.
Because of his mom?
No, that's how we know about his. He's number 13th in the nation. He has all of the talents.
So
You can wait till the second
Now we
round.
have figured out why Dev's been so hot on Amari Bailey.
Everybody goes after y'all. Go
and
after
wanting
wingspan.
Amari Bailey in Denver.
You go
Now
after
we know.
wingspan. You go after cast. Some people go after athleticism. His mama.
You go after bloodline.
All right, I ain't gonna do this.
There's no draft show like this one.
I'm not gonna do this.
There's no
and then the
draft show
UCLA
like
guy.
this.
The UCLA guy got that dog in him.
Yeah.
He fits the
Good
Christian.
left turn there.
He has
I
the
see why you
Christian
didn't finish with all right with Amari.
He has the Christian Brown mode, diving for loose balls, working hard, everything that you need when you come in and you're like the guy that just has to follow everyone around for years. But look at that mama.
That's going to be an important, bullet point on every prospect drafted now.
Oh, there's not many of these
We'll have to
type
go to
of
you for
moms,
that.
though. That's the thing. That is all right.
So the guy we all agreed on was Jaime Jaquez. He showed up on all of our boards, which I
Yeah.
feel like was a cheat. You know who
I left
Jaime?
him out.
You didn't have him on just because,
Well, no, can I
you're
tell
the
you
only
why?
honest one in
Yeah,
here.
can I tell you why? It looks a little too goofy.
Yeah, I know. It's so true. I said this on the show
I know. It
yesterday.
kinda
doesn't
like a
have
golden
the hottest
retriever.
mom either.
Yeah.
Everybody just Googled. Are you gonna? Don't Google for us. I can't do this.
I'm just telling y'all.
Let's swap Andre in here. We got Andre Simone who has helped us watching us. Here you go on this side, Dre.
Get me out of here.
As he was watching us work in the finals, watching the team win the championship, working the parade, he's like, you know what? I'll take it upon myself to do some of the heavy lifting for the draft here. Andre Simone, our general manager here at DNVR. And then also our betting expert, really our all-around expert.
I
Dre.
thought Dev was going to surprise us and say, like, she was a baller when she played in college.
I truly can't believe that y'all thought that's what I was going with.
I wish everyone watching the show could have seen the off-camera reactions.
I'm all
Dev
about
was saying
proteges.
that.
He's a protege.
There is a new pick in, by the way, so we can go to that new pick, Utah, with the number 9. Remember the Utah Jazz? Everybody thought was going to be in the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. I got yelled at by the French. I'm making sure I'm dotting my I's and crossing my N's. Instead, they go all the way up to number 9, and they are taking Taylor Hendricks. You want to give us a quick rundown, Wind?
Sure. He's out of UCF, University of Central Florida, 6'8". He is a big man, but he's a great athlete, super springy, projects as a guy that can play both ends of the floor. Really heady defender.
Yeah.
He's got a great motor, agile, good on the perimeter, good down low. He should be able to defend at the NBA level, as a big man, which is also, it's always one of the biggest questions, I think, with every big man that is getting drafted. Can he defend? Can he stay on the floor? And Taylor Hendricks, yes, can stay on the floor.
Legit 1 through 4 switchability and a legit outside shot for a guy that size.
Yeah.
Interesting pairing with Laurie. But everyone was kind of saying Utah's 2 picks, 9 and 16. Take the big man at 9, get that guard they so desperately need at 16. Where, have we seen a guard taken yet? I guess the Thompson twins and Anthony
Thompson
Black.
Twins.
But even then,
Yeah,
it's
Black
all
Magic,
guards
too.
6'5" and above.
I love it.
That's great. It's like Ryan's Italian ice for Paolo Banchero.
I like it.
cold
Did
as
you
ice.
have a favorite guy in this draft? It doesn't have to be a guy for the Nuggets, but was it as you're scouting everybody, is there somebody that you're like, man, I'm higher on him than average?
I like Koulibaly a lot. I think the NBA outdid me in my love for Koulibaly.
Really?
8th overall might have been a smidge rich. Actually, the guy who I really fell in love with, as far as the top guys are, is Cam Whitmore.
Really?
Who
Still on the board?
was the favorite to be the 5th overall
Right.
pick, had some real buzz to be the 4th overall pick.
Yeah.
Villanova kid, elite athlete in a strong frame, legit 3-and-D profile, and he uses that athleticism to get to the rack. It would appear he's dropping because of injuries, Harrison. You were kind of telling
There's
me
always
that
one
off
guy.
air, yeah.
There's always one guy every year who drops that people didn't see coming. And I think people saw this one coming a little bit, but maybe not this much. I mean, we're already at number 10, and he's still on the board.
Right. So thank God the Jazz didn't get him because I think he's a real talent. And this pick at 12 for OKC is going to be real interesting for Nuggets faithful, I think.
We got our big board here, so Cam Whitmore, and then of course Grady Dick.
Of course.
We'll get to him here coming up because, honest to God, he's not in my first round based on his appearance tonight. I just can't do it, man. I can't do it. But before we go there, as you kind of get a look at our updated big board, who are your guys? I know we don't have a graphic for you, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, that's okay.
But Dre, who are your guys for the Nuggets in that range that you really like?
I really like Kobe Jones because he checks off a lot of important boxes. I'm really zeroing in on pass, dribble, shoot guys who are 6'5" or taller.
Okay.
Right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people say he reminds them of Bruce Brown.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah, Xavier. I mean, he can be your secondary ball handler.
Okay.
He can shoot a 3, and he can like defend wings at 6'5".
Can he though? That's the part where I watched some of the low light reel and I was like, man, this guy looks like he has cement blocks for feet.
Yeah, he's not a twitched up athlete per se, but he seems fundamentally sound, smart guy who can kind of plausibly stay in front of some dudes. Ben Shepherd out of Belmont fits that. More of a shooter than Kobe Jones, but we've seen flashes of being able to handle the ball. Guy who came at Belmont as a non-shooter, really good cutter and off-ball movement, so he'd fit the Nuggets well. And
Is that Shepherd you're saying?
Yeah.
Man, that guy really moves well off ball. I mean, he's a guy that set up. There's like a timing to how do you get a guy off balance, and then the shot. Everything he does is smooth.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't look forced or hitchy or anything like that. He just kind of like moves into it, goes into a shot. I think that guy is like a for real. He almost reminds me of Isaiah Joe. You know what I mean? 'Cause we're talking about second round guys, but Isaiah Joe, man, that guy makes shots.
Yeah.
His advanced stats are really good. Catch and shoot as the dribbler off a pick and roll. Everything's above 40%. And in that same mold as Brandon Podziemski, who was supposed to be in the Nuggets range. Even when the Nuggets were picking at 40, he's been a huge riser, big standout at the Combine out of Santa Clara. But another 6'5" guy led his league in rebounding despite being like the primary ball handler. I think this was Sam Vecini who said best floater he's seen since Trae Young. And he's a shooter. Like Brandon Podziemski's good. He reminds me a lot of Jake LaRavia, the Wake Forest kid who went to the Grizz last year, where it's like he checks off all the boxes, and if you look at the advanced stats, you can talk yourself into his defense. Right. If you watch his tape, you do not talk yourself into his defense. Noah Clowney out of Alabama is another guy I'm really high on. He'd probably go more top 20, but he's a legit 3-and-D. His like chase down blocks are amazing. And like Jordan Walsh, he's one of these guys who it's like, man, if this dude went back to school, not crazy to think you could get him with an early second rounder this year. He might be a top 20 guy. He might be a late lottery guy next season.
That Arkansas team had a lot of talent that he was on.
Exactly. And that's the P-Watt mold, right?
Yeah.
Like P-Watt goes 30. If P-Watt goes back to school and puts up the kind of numbers he put up in the G League at UCLA, he's going in the lottery this year.
Oh, easy.
These are the graphics we did create. There's a list of P-Watt mold guys.
All right.
Like these. Bilal I believe
there's a lot, man. That's a lot of P-Watt mold. What is this?
Koulibaly.
Is it, what is it?
Koulibaly.
Koulibaly.
The French, it's that last Koulibaly. Yes. Wembanyama, Ray Rupert.
Rudy Gobert.
You're talking me into these players here, yeah.
Just so you know, when me and the homies would go to France, they would make me ask things at the counter because my pronunciation was so bad they'd get a tremendous laugh out of it.
By the way, Drake is
you
Italian,
as a bit,
so he's
right.
It's cool. It's cool.
Right. That's right.
Fun.
Exactly. It's allowed.
There's a lot. So what do we mean when we say this? The P-Watt mold.
They're a year away from being a year away.
So that's the defining trait. It's less about the like rangy size and forward. It's more about they're the red shirts.
Teenage high upside wings, I think, is kind of the mold here. So all these guys are, at the oldest is probably 20. I think that'd be Omax Prosper, but I think everyone else is a teenager still. So you like that. And the mold is like Koulibaly. As Harrison pointed out, we're not sure about any of his offensive skills right now, but we can dream.
Okay.
Ryan Rupert, Harrison described him as a horrible basketball player on yesterday's pod. Need I say more? Leonard Miller doesn't necessarily have a role, but he's got nice upside. Clowney, I talked up. Gigi Jackson's terrifying, but he was the top-ranked guy in the 2024 class, reclassified, and went into the draft, and that might be a little scary for him. Sidi Sissoko's a guy I think the whole panel would like. Another G League guy with some defensive upside. Jordan Walsh, you guys have obviously covered. And
oh, my guy. I can't believe he's 8 on this. Come on.
No particular order. Julian Phillips is the P-Watt mold to a T.
Really?
Yeah. I think he had 5 points per game at Tennessee.
Guys, another pick is in and another trade is in. So we're going to have a little double graphic here. The Oklahoma City Thunder are acquiring from Dallas Kason Wallace, is that right? Kason
Yes,
Wallace.
sir.
Wow.
And Dallas is trading Davis Bertans and Kason Wallace at number 10 to OKC. We're waiting to see what else comes in right now. It looks like the rest of the details of this trade. OKC sends number 12 and a TP, a traded player exception to Dallas as part of the trade. So interesting one there.
Wow, big move for Bertans.
Bartons to what does that mean that Bartons is going to OKC? Does that mean anything?
It's Bertans.
Or Bertons, what did I say?
I don't even know.
Bertans.
What does it mean? Probably nothing.
It's just weird. Like OKC, one of the questions I had this summer is what is OKC going to do? Are they going to stay on the slow burn and just take the next step, or are they going to try to accelerate things?
I think they're staying on
But
the
this
slow
is
burn.
isn't this like a crazy one for the Mavericks though? They're picking up a point guard when they already have Luka. Is he going to move off the ball now, or is this just like a backup option?
No. They traded this to OKC.
Oh, so they don't have
Kason.
Kason.
Yep, they don't. Not the Mavs.
Oh,
Yeah.
And they got 12, so they moved back. So I'm
they're
guessing,
about to pick up somebody.
and I was going to say, I think usually when a team does that, it's like the Gary Harris Nurkic deal.
Yeah.
You trade back because the guys you want are going to be there. So, they
Yeah.
got rid of Bertans, but also probably are
Salary
just going to
dumped
get their
him.
guy.
Yeah, it's just a salary dump, I think. But Kason Wallace, guys, is arguably
Vote.
the best defender in the draft, like the best point of attack defender in the draft. The best guard defender.
Long boy.
He's a 6'2" guard out of Kentucky, 6'8" wingspan. Just a really active defender. Like when you watch his film, he's always getting deflections. He's always getting his hands in passing lanes, tons of steals. He's got a great feel for the game. But yeah, he's a point guard.
Fun backcourt pairing with SGA.
Yeah. I mean,
Two
really
Kentucky
great
guys.
defensively. Two Kentucky guys in the backcourt there.
Dev, you look like you have a take.
No, this is the guy that they compare to Drew Holiday all the time. Like he's just like a dog defender that they're just adding into a team that doesn't really play a lot of defense. So like maybe they're having the pieces though. Now they have a point guard because SGA comes off the ball, so that just makes it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's a good fit. This is a great fit.
I gotta say, this 2023 NBA draft is the unofficial apex of got that dog in them. I feel like 70% of the prospects, that's how people define him. It's in they're like, he's got that dog in him. I think we've become too loose on what qualifies for having that dog in him.
This is like when we started labeling everybody a unicorn.
Yeah, that's so true.
Very
that's
similar.
so true. Jalil Okafor, we're like, I don't know, man. He's not really a unicorn. Like he's kind of just a regular big here.
Turns out like Kristaps Bol, maybe not unicorns.
Yeah, it's actually
regular
I know.
ass
We are
horses.
too liberal in handing out got that dog in him.
Yeah.
How many
titles.
guys on the Nuggets, no questions asked, got that dog in them? Bruce Brown, I think, is first team
Bruce
all got that.
Brown.
I think Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, no doubt.
Jamal Murray
Jokic
does.
is maybe the baddest dude in the whole NBA. I think that counts.
Man, it's just weird though because I wouldn't use that to
But
describe
yeah,
him.
he's more talented.
But
Yeah.
I
know,
know,
but
almost like you can.
When no one can step to you in the entire league, I
Yeah,
kind of
but
feel like you got that. You're maybe not that dog in him, but you're top dog.
Doesn't it feel
some
like there's
kind of dog, man?
Doesn't it feel like you can only
canine
be so
nonetheless.
good?
It's a top
You can. There's a level to the like player you can be to still have that dog in you. Like if you, I don't think you can be a top 20 player and have that dog in you. You know.
So Christian Brown got that dog in him.
Yeah.
Guys, another important detail here. Shams Charania got no fewer than 3 full tweets off about this trade before Woj got his first one in. I'm going ahead and
You're
say
very locked in on this.
I'm telling you, we clearly have Shams in the lead right now.
Shams jumping into
Clearly in
the lead.
The race continues.
Dude, imagine how sad it is that he got that in like 5 minutes behind. It's not just to be a little bit behind, but to be that far.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, but you could still tip. Maybe, yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
Is
Look how great he looks right now, though.
Who?
His mom or him?
Kason?
Oh.
Kason.
Oh, okay.
Mom, not that bad.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah.
Are the Thunder trading the Latvian laser? They're not keeping him, right?
I mean, he's been Bertans has been a non-factor for like a couple of years now.
What happened to him?
He's just not that good.
He was great though, and then he
For like 1 year.
yeah for 1 year he got
Then
a
he
contract.
got paid, and now he's been an albatross.
Oh man, he Gary Harris'd it. This is too bad. That is super sad.
The NBA, you get reassessed once you're paid. Everyone thinks this Magic pick is Grady Dick.
We
just
got
so
a
you
couple.
guys know.
Oh, really? Is that the next one on the clock? Yeah.
That's what the book thinks.
Magic
That's what all
Dick?
the mocks thought.
Dick. No, we might have the Suggs Dick backcourt. Is what will
Suggs
happen.
Dick.
We're really going to end up with a Suggs
Suggs
Dick.
I mean,
Dick.
dare I even say it, but it could be a Suggs Black Dick.
Guys,
I'm merely saying last names.
it's actually Black Dick in the backcourt. Yeah.
This is crazy. I ain't watching none of their games. Can't watch none of them.
This
Yeah,
is the
you
worst
guys
Gotta
show.
pause the TV every time they come on.
You guys thought Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. could do a Wilder draft broadcast?
Dude, Stephen A. is
Watch
so
me.
excited to call Magic games this year.
Oh, my God. We have a couple more top fives, don't we, Cal, to go over here? Yeah, we got a bunch. Bring us one. Let's see what we got here in the chamber here.
The
as we
jet
write.
has landed in Orlando, if you know what I mean.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Top 5 defenders. It's Kasson
There's
Wallace, which
Kasson
we just
Wallace.
saw. Ryan Rupert, another got that dog in him. Omax, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm not sure about Omax.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure about Omax. Andre Jackson Jr., he's got that dog in him.
Oh,
And then
man.
Jordan Walsh, my guy. I love it. Our lists are all the same. Our personal lists are got that dog in him list. The
Again,
defenders
we
list.
might be handing out got that dog in him a little too liberally.
Jordan Walsh has that dog in him, though, wouldn't you say? Would you say?
I don't know. I'm a little more stingy with labeling guys
I
with
think
the
Jordan
dog.
Walsh has to have that dog.
He's got to
He's
have
like
it, yeah.
forced to. It's
Yeah.
like ingrained in him.
It looks like is a pick in here.
Yes.
All right, the pick is in. You know what we did? It does not look like we're going to get the backcourt everybody was hoping for.
really?
Darn it.
Darn.
Instead, Orlando is selecting Jet Howard. Jet Howard.
Wow, this is a early call for Jet Howard. Projected to go in the definitely late teens, but maybe early 20s.
Yeah.
Jet Howard is Juwan Howard's son.
There he is.
He was the coach at Michigan, so Jet Howard played for him at Michigan. Jet Howard is a shooter. He's a 6'8" flamethrower. Like, this guy has arguably the best jumper in the class. He's just a slick offensive player. He's got a real versatile offensive game. He can obviously shoot the three, off the catch, off movement. He's got a nice little in-between game, nice float game as well. So he's an offensive guy, kind of in that Duncan Robinson role. I think you'll see him. Defensively, there are a lot of question marks, but this is definitely early for him, for sure.
Yeah, this is like Bertans, really. He
Yeah,
does
there you
nothing
go.
else
Great
besides shoot it. He's playing for his dad, so of course he has the green light, but this is a guy that's not turning down any shots whatsoever. And he's been in front of like the eye for so long. So he is going to acculate. Like, I think he's going to be able to play at the next level and be okay.
Here's the thing about the Magic now with Anthony Black, Jet Howard, and you think about the other guys in their rotation, it's just a 5-man lineup of 6, 7, and above.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting.
Let's swap you out here as we have a little bit of time here. We're only about halfway through the first round. We still got time before the Denver Nuggets pick. We'll bring Brendan Vogt back in. Vogt, you left and things got really
Exciting.
R-rated.
I heard, actually. I feel like I left just in time.
You definitely
Yeah.
avoided
Great call.
no camera time for
Yep.
any of those
Yep.
uncomfortable ones. So, Jet, do you have a Jet take?
Yeah, I didn't love him. Kind of struggled second half of the season and showed to be a bit limited, but he's a guy you can dream on, certainly. He's young. He fits. I like his fit at the Magic. I mean, they could have used that shooting and size. He's one of these guys from the IMG Academy, like Keontae George, like Jarris Walker, and wasn't really expected to be one and done this season, so people were surprised that he left his pops and
I guess
declared.
this is why he left.
Great call, yeah. Picked at 11. Honestly, I kind of like the pick better than Grady Dick, though. I'm just not sold on Grady Dick.
Grady Dick, Kale, why don't you Google it for us real quick? The Grady Dick, find it, because he showed up wearing the absolute
Get your
worst,
spelling right.
the worst suit I've ever seen. I don't
Maybe it knocked him off the draft board
I'm
of
not-
some teams.
Bro, he's the faller. He's the guy falling. Is there
Him
any
and Cam
chance?
Whitmore.
Is there any chance the suit played a part in it?
I mean, look, if you have Jet Howard and Grady Dick equal, and you're debating which guy you're
so
going to take,
true.
and you see this tweet and this outfit,
Look at
you're
this thing.
taking Jet Howard over him.
Bro,
Everybody is 10 times out
so
of 10.
bad.
And I think few people could even dream of trying this, but he's pretty low on the list.
Yeah, you're so
You
right,
know what
man.
I mean? Like,
You're so right.
Think about this. This was Christian Brown. This guy came from Christian Brown's school.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
you
looks like
wonder,
Elton John in that.
is he trying to take attention away from his name? Which
just
has
drawing
already
attention
led to
to it
lots
even
of
more
puns
now.
for us. You know, who knows?
I will say, I
tough
do
to say.
kind of like this young Orlando Magic team. Am I a Magic fan? They're like so non-threatening. They're far away. Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, you know
Oh,
I love that front
all in.
court.
Yeah.
Love those guys. Wendell Carter Jr. always somehow gives Jokic problems. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then you got Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz.
I mean, they're a fun, really unserious team.
You think they're unserious?
They're
just
They're
young.
probably like the Thunder last year.
Okay.
Getting into the play-in would be a wild success for them this
Yeah.
season. That's probably the level they're at.
They're kind of the East version of the Thunder.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
true.
But you know what they have is, while they probably won't be good, they're going to be fun. Like if you're
Yeah.
a Magic fan, which is a big if, you have plenty to sink your teeth into, I think, even on a possible losing season.
We got a new pick coming in. Dallas with the number 12 pick. Remember, they traded down. Dallas is selecting Derek Lively.
Derek
Lively. What do you got for us? Give us the quick rundown.
Derek Lively is a big man out
Yeah.
of Duke, 7'1", 7'7" wingspan. He's a rim protector. He's a run and dunk type of guy. I think you can slot him in that category that, you have a lot of centers in where they're rim runners.
The crowd loves the
They
pick.
protect the
They
rim,
love the
then
pick.
they run the court, then they dunk the ball at the other end. Like that's the mold of player and center Derek Lively is.
And what happened with him is people went back to the high school tape where he was a teammate of Jalen Duren's at AAU ball, and he shot like 28% from three. So now we're talking ourselves into Derek Lively as a three-point shooter, even though he didn't take a single attempt at Duke.
Yeah. Great finisher, great roller in the pick and roll.
Okay.
But yeah, some question marks outside of that.
Can a guy of that archetype be the best available player this early in a draft in the modern NBA? Or is
No
that
way,
a
man.
fit pick from Dallas? Because it seems like the latter.
That pick.
I mean, Dallas, they needed a big man,
Yeah.
So maybe.
Right,
like,
they're so desperate. And
how
you gotta
many times
compete
can
in the
they
West.
roll Dwight Powell out there at center?
Right.
You know?
They're in such a tough spot, the Mavs are, man.
I think so.
would not want to be.
yeah,
the Mavs
they are
right
in a
now.
tight spot. I don't have a lot of faith in.
It might be a decent fit pick, like you were saying, though.
Right. But it doesn't seem
Like an athletic roller off of Luka Doncic. Like they haven't had a 7-footer like that since JaVale McGee.
Do we have an updated big board? Let's take a look at the updated big board here, so we can kind of see who's following. I mean, Cam Whitmore.
Cam Whitmore
is the
would
guy,
be worth it, man.
Grady Dick. Now, Cam Whitmore falling. Is he the type of guy you trade some assets for? If it's like, oh wow, he's available at 20, and Nuggets maybe can move up. Is he that type of guy?
I
Be a
mean,
fun
the
Bruce
injury
replacement.
concern's got to be really legit if
Yeah,
he's falling
dude.
like this. You know?
Well, legit as in you're worried about him forever, or you're just worried about, because we all know GMs don't like to take a year off. Denver probably needs to take a year off.
You're saying they could get a guy in redshirt him.
They're just positioned to.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's a great question. You know, like now with Cam Whitmore falling, you look at the playoff-bound teams, the contender teams, as teams that are probably most likely to pick him up because, like you said, they can wait on him.
Yeah.
They could redshirt him for a year.
and he's so young, right? Isn't he like 18?
So
I
young,
think?
He's
one
a
of the
one-and-done
youngest
guy.
dudes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
I
it's
mean-
pretty crazy because like a couple weeks ago, before people started talking about him sliding, he was a potential top 5 guy.
Well,
he was a
when-
likely top 5 guy.
When there were rumors that Harden was going to Houston, he was the guy who made most sense at 4 for them.
yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
crazy, dude. Yeah.
All right, let's go to another one of our top 5. We're getting close now. So what pick was that? That was number 12?
12, yep.
So we're almost about halfway.
We're not that close.
We're about halfway to where the Nuggets are. You know, I guess you're right. We're not quite that close. On the clock is the Toronto Raptors. What else do we have in our top 5s here, Kale?
These are the not Calvin Booth guys.
Also known as Dev's big board.
These were, of course, crafted by yours truly. Keontae George is undersized scoring 2-guard. Just doesn't seem like the mold of player the Nuggets are after. Jet Howard, again, not the mold of player the Nuggets are after. Dariq Whitehead, a lot of injury concerns. Already had 2 foot surgeries in the last year.
Sucks, man.
You know, the Nuggets, I guess, could take a chance on a guy like that because they could redshirt him, but I don't know. Maxwell Lewis out of Pepperdine, kind of an up-and-down shooter who was not on a winning team last year, not really a winner. We know the Nuggets like those guys. And then James Najee, who's probably a draft and stash big, and the Nuggets want a draft and stash big. Yeah, he's a possibility, but they already have one of those.
Not related to Zeke Najee, very surprisingly.
Right, not at all. Maxwell Lewis is the kind of guy who, like, if they were drafting at 29 when 4 years ago when they drafted MPJ, you would want to target because he's a potential, like, he increases your margins,
Right.
he increases your ceiling. Now you're not looking for that guy, you're looking for more role players, so it makes no sense. James Najee, to me, was the second best big in this class. I'm not a Derek Lively guy, but he's like a European Robert Williams, essentially, to me. You know, like, he's safer than Lively. Lively you can dream on more.
Yeah.
But the stash part is concerning. And Kamigate being in the mix, you know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's interesting. With Cam Whitmore, is there a fit in the upcoming picks for him? I mean, you got Toronto coming up.
All they have is wings.
Huh?
All they have is wings.
What other teams are coming up?
Then you got New Orleans. Would the Pelicans make
That's
sense?
right.
I mean, I think a team that takes Cam Whitmore now is going to be a borderline contender, you know? It's going to be a quality team that can afford to take it slowly with him.
I'd hate for him to land comfortably in Utah.
Oh,
That'd
Utah.
be a great pick for them at 16. Incredible value.
So there is a chance, I guess, yeah, with them coming up. The Lakers, of course, at 17 after that.
The Hawks
Miami
at 15?
Yeah.
Hawks might need something a little safer, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If a guy that talented slides, like we're also just watched Michael Porter Jr. win a championship, you know?
Right.
There's- Like Tim
Right.
Connolly would be looking at it, and maybe he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez, please go off the board before the Lakers. That'd stink.
What team do you think in the Northwest Division, as things sit now, just seeing how things have gone, what team gives you pause? Is there a team that you think is going to challenge Denver in any way in the Northwest?
No.
I mean, Wolves, I suppose.
Minnesota's the second best team, and they are multiple tiers below the Nuggets.
They're not. I don't think they'll challenge Denver in the win-loss column, but I do still think that they could be a tough matchup. I mean,
they were last year. Minnesota always gave the Nuggets good games.
But a gap in actual caliber of teams in a vacuum.
when
for
it
sure.
actually starts to
For
matter.
sure. And I suppose you have to be open to Portland pivoting one way or another.
Yeah.
But them walking away from this being more of a contender right now seems harder to see for me, given that they just went ahead and took that pick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you got to flip Scoot to make
Yeah,
that happen.
right.
I mean,
it's
it's nice. It's nice to have that division wide open.
Do you still feel? We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'll throw to you, vote.
Yeah.
Will you find it weird if Nuggets use all three of their picks?
Yes. I'm not. I'd be a little surprised. I don't think it would be blasphemous. I think Wynn made the good point recently that you could stash or redshirt, right? Like if a guy, not necessarily Cam, but someone slides, you could look at it and say, well, they don't have to play year one. We have that luxury. But I do think, given how limited they are in avenues to improve the roster, consolidating the picks to make one really good one or going and get one of those guards from Washington, you know, as an example alternative, to me that seems more like it would make a bigger splash.
Yeah. You know, a couple weeks ago or like even last week, I might have been a little surprised if they were to make all three. Now, I don't know if I would be. They made 3 picks in last year's draft when we were all saying there's no way they make 3. There's an extra 2-way spot now heading into this season. There were only 2 of those last year. There are 3 this year now. You can take a guy in the second round that's going to be on one of those 2 ways. So maybe, man, like And
Right.
if you're a Nuggets fan, you got to trust Calvin Booth in the draft based on what he did last year and just what we know and have heard about him as a scout. So I'm kind of hoping the Nuggets take all 3 picks now.
And they also have a second round exception where they can offer a second rounder a 3-year deal, right? Which I think makes that second round pick more appealing. And also just the way Cal's been operating with these pick trades makes me think he clearly likes this class, likes that range, and is like trying to get a couple extra rolls of the dice.
Yeah.
Bobby Marks has an update here about the Dallas move. We talked about them getting rid of Bertans, moving back. What did it do? Well, it opened up $12 million for them to use the $12 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception.
That's significant.
Who is a guy that fits that mold, of course? Bruce Brown.
Yeah,
So
100%.
another Bruce Brown team has entered the fold, should they be interested. I mean, who knows if he's interested, but that's just one more team that's opened up space to be able to do it.
I mean, that'd be a great fit for him.
Yeah, and it's not Detroit or Houston, right?
Right.
So it's one. It might be a little more appealing.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
And he can keep his cowboy hats.
That's a great point.
He doesn't have to change the
actually
vibe
even
again
more
once he,
cowboy.
he can lean in further.
Won't have to buy a new wardrobe.
Right.
Man, it's not the worst. It's funny with Bruce because he's ours. Like, if he went to Boston or if he went to the Lakers or something like that, he'd be like, come on, man. You had, like, Colorado, forever, a lifelong Nugget. If you go to the Lakers, like, they got to remove it from you, man. Dallas, though, to me is, like,
He can
fair,
have it. He can
but
have it.
also still would suck.
It would really suck to see him in the playoffs or something like that, but it would make sense. Like, Dallas is actually
A really good
an
fit. for him.
awesome fit for Bruce Brown.
It'd be a great
That
move
is
for
an
Bruce,
elite
yeah.
fit.
Yeah. No state taxes,
I was
too,
not going to be
you know.
worried about him if he just had to go to one of the lottery dwellers that had the cap space, a Houston, a Detroit, but Dallas is enticing, I would think.
Another thing I wonder about this draft, we are in the first year of a new CBA is always interesting. New collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
Because the rules change and every team is trying to think about how does this affect.
Yep.
And I think one thing that it's going to affect is the middle class of veterans. And I do wonder if we've had a couple reaches, we've got a couple fallers. Hasn't been any crazy trades. I wonder how much teams are just like, no, we all need rookie scale contracts.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's part of how this is all going to play out. I wonder if Adam Silver has gamed himself out of trades. You know what I mean? Everybody trades move the needle a lot. Say what you will about them, but I do wonder if that's going to be part of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be a little piece
Or
of this.
trades are more oriented towards salary dumps like this Latvian laser move.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all the picks the Nuggets have moved over the years, aside from the RJ trade, were all salary dump.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Grady Dick, by the way, this is why you don't wear that suit. He's already become a meme.
Yeah.
Him sitting sad while sitting there sad faced with like that. It looks like he has shoulder pads on in his suit jacket or whatever.
Ooh, not a good look.
Really, really tough.
And he's
look.
a kid too. He has to have higher internet awareness than that,
Right, like it's
You're
got
right.
some like
part of
Eddie
the
Murphy Raw outfit vibes to it with
Oh,
the
yeah.
shoulders, right? I placed a plus 400 bet on him being the pick at 16. Why not? I could see Danny Ainge drafting him right at 16.
Oh my God!
Plus
in
400.
Utah?
Why not?
Speaking of
Utah or Boston.
Speaking of which, do
You
we
can't
have
buy
some
that
good bets?
jacket
Can
in
we
Utah,
open
I'll
up?
tell
Is
you
there
that.
some live bets we can kind of get in
The
on right now?
16th pick and the 17th pick, you can get live bets. The 16th pick, the shortest odds are Keontae George plus 350, Nick Smith plus 380, Grady Dick plus 400, Jalen Hood-Scafino plus 500. As we were talking about early, Utah's one of those where they wanted their big at 9 and they took Taylor Hendricks out of UCF, and then they can wait for this tier of guards. Well, there'll be plenty available at 16. I'm going Grady Dick.
How
But
has
maybe
Grady
a ball
Dick not
handler makes
changed
more
his
sense.
last name by now?
To what?
Anything else?
It's hard. I mean,
It's actually the first name that I feel like his parents could have done him a
Yeah,
favor.
Grady doesn't do you any
How can you
favors.
go through life with that?
Yeah, that's tough.
I
At least
know.
he's a stud basketball player. I bet that alleviates some of the pain
A little
in
bit.
adolescence.
Oh, the odds from Grady Dick just went from plus 400 to minus 120. 16th.
so he's coming up here.
I know,
Ainge
guys.
likes-
I know, Paul.
Danny Ainge, yes, go on.
Danny Ainge, yeah, right.
That does feel like a Danny
Right.
Ainge player,
Just
doesn't it?
typecast GMs and you'll win money on the draft. It's
Yeah.
that simple.
Danny Ainge likes stick.
I think the book's assuming Cam Whitmore is going
They're just
before the
burning it
16th.
down.
I had
pick.
to say it.
The Lakers pick Noah Clowney, the betting favorite for that selection.
By the way, Brian J NBA, friend of the show, scout, he tweeted, for what it's worth, Cam's medicals were not great, and he hears that he had a lot of poor workouts.
And he had a lot of poor workouts.
Poor workouts. So.
Yeah, that was a rumor as well.
Darn.
I mean, if he's hurt, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure it's hard to work out in that.
I'll tell you
scenario.
what.
The TV's caught up to us, Carol. Have you seen this?
The pick is in.
Boom.
And there it is.
And there it is. Grady Dick is a Raptor.
In the
Raptors
T-dot.
go to
Sad.
Dick.
Dick goes to Raptors. Who knows what the Toronto Raptors are doing? You know, I did poke around because I've been saying that I think this is an off season with a lot of crazy trades, and you know, got some pushback from some people saying like, I don't know, man, we'll see. It's possible. I mean, now I think with the Dame piece of all of this, you know, that could be the case. But the Toronto Raptors are the one where you want to sit here and go, how does he fit on that team? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
They're like in between timelines,
Yeah,
transitioning
yeah.
into the next. It's whatever.
Well, and they got to pick between one of Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and OG, and they just lost Fred VanVleet. So, or presumably are going to lose Fred VanVleet. So,
Man,
figure
That
that
is
out.
one of the worst suits of all time.
it really,
It really
is,
is.
man.
With the red Raptors hat, did he know something? I don't know. Maybe.
Jesus, so rough.
So sparkly, so shiny.
It's
Man.
just the shoes. It's that's it. It's the Wizard of Oz thing.
Is that what he's doing?
I think so, right? Because he's from Kansas.
We're not.
Oh.
Man, that makes it way worse.
It's like
it
the
actually
shoes, right?
I thought it was the worst it could be, and then you made it worse.
I think I might be right.
Man, that is a tough.
Unbelievable.
Man, that is a really.
Louboutin.
Honestly,
Holy
man, that's
cow.
to me. We care about guys' personalities. That's why we do the interviews, right? Red flag.
Oh,
Huge,
massive.
huge red flag.
He put a red flag on his entire body. with
No
that
one
suit.
was asking to lean into a Wizard of Oz shtick.
Yeah.
I don't need my teens to be leaning into Wizard of Oz shticks. This is bad, man.
That's actually really true.
That's a
actually-
massive red flag.
Dated reference.
Also, AJ Hafley today out on Grady Dick, biggest Kansas fan.
Really?
Oh, man.
AJ Hafley, our
He's lost
resident
a lot of
Kansas
fans
fan,
today.
Rock Chalk
That's actually
Jayhawk,
huge.
man. That's a tough one. All right, we have another top 5 to get to here, Kale, don't we?
Oh, wow.
Let's see what we got.
Top 5 winners.
Boom.
So we've got 2 national champions from last college basketball season on here. Jordan Hawkins, Andre Jackson Jr. We've got Jaime Jaquez Jr., who has won a lot of games throughout his career on
Yeah.
good UCLA teams. We've got Jalen Wilson on here, Christian Brown's teammate at Kansas last year
Yeah.
when they won the championship.
Very good.
And then we've got Colby Jones, who is an NIT champion.
It's true. It's true. You didn't include any of the Houston guys, the Jarris Walkers, the Marcus Sassers. I feel
did
like they've
not.
been highly
They
ranked.
just missed the cut, but they have won a lot of games.
Yeah.
That's why. By the way, what do we think of Marcus Sasser? He showed up today in Gavoni's mock
Right.
draft.
Yep.
Gavoni, usually the guy, he's not 100%, but he's usually pretty plugged in on this
He
stuff.
knows something.
He knows a lot of things. He's
a lot.
So Marcus Sasser being mocked to the Nuggets, a great shooter. Give me the break. Actually, when do you give us the breakdown? You've been
Okay.
giving all these real quick. Marcus Sasser.
Yeah, he's a bit of an undersized guard, 6'2", but he's a point guard, and he's one of the more NBA-ready guys that they could take at that position. He's a senior. He played 4 years at Houston, won a lot of games like Dre just said. Good defender, solid shooter, just a high floor type of player. Like a guy that some teams could throw in there right away, and maybe he can play minutes for you off the bench. So that would be an interesting pick. Not where I thought the Nuggets would go, but they might need more ball handling here depending on what happens to Bruce. Maybe Marcus Sasser could come in and play a role pretty quickly.
And he's short, but he has a long wingspan, right? He's
Yeah.
not like the smallest 6'2" dude you're going to see.
And he's
But he's
built.
small frame.
He's got an
Small
NBA
frame.
body
Okay.
too. He's
All right.
built.
older guy, smidge of an injury history. I think that's why he's not more highly touted. But
His shot looks great, though.
Oh,
it's like
he made a
I
lot
believe
of
in
them,
the
man.
shot.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
And it's not a lot of these guys. You're talking about shooting potential, and it's catch and shoot.
Right.
And what does their form look like? This is a guy who can create his own shot. He's a nasty pull-up shooter.
Yep.
He's just
Yeah.
gonna go get you too. He can do that.
yeah. And like the leader for a top 3 program last year. Like Houston was badass. They were one of the tippy top programs in the entire country last year. So
Shams Charania reporting that the Mavericks are very active on the phones right now trying to get a trade. They opened up that trade exception, $17 million, and they're wanting to use it. So allegedly they are in the market right now to take on. I mean, they're so talent deficient.
Right.
You know, that's really what it is. So
Right.
it makes a little bit of
So
sense.
that's good news. They're not trying to wait till free agency. They're trying to trade for a guy now, right? So maybe out of the Bruce.
I want to believe that Luka called him after the first pick and was like, nah, man. Like if that's your plan, I'm gone.
Shit. Yeah.
Is there any Bruce Brown being traded in a like sign-in trade deal
No,
possibility?
it's not possible.
None, right?
No.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and let's see. A new pick is in. You guys, number 14 has already
wow.
been taken.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Oh, and it's a winner.
It's a winner.
Oh,
yes.
man. New Orleans found themselves a winner. They are selecting Jordan Hawkins. Jordan Hawkins is going to New Orleans.
Jordan Hawkins, one of the more polished offensive players, I'll say, in the draft.
Okay.
Won the national championship at UConn last year. 6'4", just a smooth catch and shoot shooter. Great off the catch, great off the bounce, great pull up, great feel for the game too. You know, he's like a classic 2-guard, classic off-ball player. And he's got some defensive skills as well.
And don't bury the lead. T-shirt under the jersey guy.
Yeah.
Classic UConn move, right?
That is a classic
UConn shooter
UConn
right
move.
there.
Yeah.
A shooter
Khalid
shooter
Al-Amin
right here.
looking
Just a
over.
great offensive player.
He was nasty in that tournament run, man.
Yeah,
he was
was.
really impressive.
Well, complimented Andre Jackson so well, you know. Like,
Yeah.
is there any team you feel worse about in the last calendar year of how we felt about him to how we feel about him now than the Pellies?
You know what's weird about the Pelicans is I felt terrible about them last summer. Then they fooled me into being a little bit higher on them, and now I'm back down on them again. I mean, look, we were talking earlier, we showed the list of Houston players. I might like the roster of Pelicans young players, even though they don't have the upside. Of course, they have Zion. Let's throw Zion out there. Let's call him a vet.
MBI,
And same with BI, Brandon Ingram. We'll throw those guys as vets, but I just mean all of the other players. They got the Herb Jones, the Trey Murphy. You know, they just got so many dudes, Dice Daniels, that I like. And, you know, now you add another one to it. Their rumors about trading Zion sound so crazy because it's Zion freaking Williamson. But part of me goes, you got to decide what you are at some point. And
I know.
You go into another year with Zion. I don't know. Is that crazy to trade Zion? Is that crazy?
It wouldn't
No.
be, man.
I think
It
they
wouldn't
should.
be. Like, we talked about this on maybe yesterday's show or the day before, but, like, I would have traded Zion for the number 2 pick and drafted Scoot Henderson and built around him. Like, I don't think that's crazy. I think this is just going to be the case with Zion for a while.
Yeah.
But they do have a great core around him, and Jordan Hawkins, like, a movement shooter like that around Zion Williamson, if Zion Williamson is playing, like, that's a great move.
You guys pro crying? I mean, he's very emotional here.
Oh, I'm pro crying.
Me too, man. Like, I think it's cool when guys show the emotion of wanting to be there and you know, and for this moment. So I think it's
many of us
awesome.
actually did when the Nuggets won a title, Adam.
What's that?
Many of us actually did show our emotions when the Nuggets won a title because we're not cold robots inside.
Yeah.
You
Are you
know?
talking about last week when the Nuggets won the title?
Some of us
That's
actually
right.
let our emotions flow.
Yeah, dude.
By the way, I do think New Orleans, I would go so far as to say they should trade him, not just like.
Really?
No, I think they should. I don't think you can have both Zion and Brandon Ingram and say, yeah, between the two of these guys, they'll be there when we need them.
Right.
You just can't. And
that's a fair point.
One of those guys will net you assets. The rest of their roster is encouraging. Their assets are encouraging. And so, do I think Brandon Ingram is like an awesome top option? No. But I think Zion can net you a big return, and I think you have to choose. I think if those are your 1-2, you're going to have years where you're first in January and you slide out of the play-in because they missed all the games.
Dude, is he getting a Rip Hamilton comp? One under from
so
one
easy,
UConn
man.
under the shirt under
guard.
the
You're
jersey
right,
guy to
dude.
another
This is-
elite comp.
All comps are
Oh
really
my
just
God.
style comps.
the
They're hair
best.
comps or they're like, some feature comps. They
except
never have
for-
anything to do with the actual talent of the player.
Dev gave us a great Bertans comp for a brother who was just drafted. You never see that.
Who?
Latvian Laser was comped to, I forget who you comped him to.
Jet?
Jet Howard.
Yeah,
Jet
right.
Howard.
That's
is-
elite.
that's a-
elite draft analyst.
That's a
work.
ceiling shattering
yeah,
comp.
dude.
right
Yeah.
Yes, damn straight it is.
Yeah,
though.
the
Yes.
Magic don't want to hear about that comp.
All right, we're going to swap Dev, Superstar Dev, back in here. Dre, very, very helpful. You'll be back on the show, I'm sure, here in a little bit.
Dre, you're the
Thanks,
best.
Trey.
He is our GM, you guys.
Although you're
on
wrong
this
about
one.
Ben
And also-
Shepherd.
What's that?
Nothing. There's some personal beef between me and Dre.
And there's a new pick in, so let's go ahead and get the new pick. What do
There
we
is.
have here? The Atlanta Hawks are selecting the first Kobe of the draft, Kobe Buffkin.
Kobe Buffkin.
Buffkin.
Tough last name. Good first name. Kobe Buffkin is a 6'4" combo guard. I think he's a guy who can play the point and the two. He's like a dynamic two-way presence, great athlete, highlight reel type of player. Got to improve his jumper, but he's got a ton of potential. Great finisher at the rim. He's been improving his efficiency as a shooter. He was one of the biggest risers throughout the pre-draft process. Hustler as well, but he's got to become a better shooter from three specifically. Didn't really come into college as one either, but people think he's got a lot of room to improve. So this is an upside pick for sure.
Is this a surprise where he's going here?
No,
That's about
this is
where
right
he was
around where he
projected.
should be going, right in the teens.
Do you have any takes that you've been couching while we've been going here? Do you have anything?
I mean, with Kobe, first off, the name is incredible. That's an incredible name. But just super shifty. Like, this is I feel like he can adapt to playing at the NBA level. Like, he can score. He's a good playmaker. You can put the ball in his hands and he can operate. And that's just kind of what you need right now, especially for a Pelicans team that they're not really like wanting to make the playoffs unless Zion plays, but like they have a guy that they could put in and he's going to fit in. So I do think that he's like a perfect fit in this type of scenario. And you just have that ability to just play point guard, shooting guard, just a little bit off ball. You can do everything with this.
The other note is this was one of the first teams we threw out as if Cam is going to slide, who might pull the trigger, and it wasn't them. So just another slide for Cam Whitmore here.
Really?
Just something. Just Dev threw it out as an option, and I just want
Right.
to know, we're still sliding, and he's still available.
Utah, a team that's had a couple picks, in the first round, like they've already drafted a guy. Maybe they could take Cam Whitmore here.
It's interesting. It's an interesting look.
Man, that you're right about that.
The Lakers probably not.
What was Bull
him.
projected? Do you guys remember?
It's a great.
Was he projected like 9 or something? Because it's similar.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like he was projected 25th and he went to the same. No, he was projected really high. And
Bull?
Yeah. Bull was like he was projected a lottery pick.
Yeah, but his would like fall into like the Imani Bates or Derek Whitehead or those type of, like situations where they were super good in high school, like they're phenoms, they're going to play at the next level, but then something bad went happen where, they're not where they're supposed to be. So that'll be a fit for me in this draft.
And to answer your question, some people had him in the first round. In Yahoo's last mock draft, they had him in 20. Bull. So that was a slide.
Yeah, it was kind of a similar situation where leading right up to the draft, people were like, he might be sliding. We're hearing stuff about him potentially sliding. And that's the same thing that happened with Whitmore.
Friend of the show, Jake Fisher, is reporting that Utah is going to be taking Keontae George. I love it because I don't know if we can make it official. I love Jake, but are we just Shams and how do you handle this? Are you just Shams and
On
Woj?
tonight I am.
He's
It just
super
sounds-
fast. Like
Jake
how is he
knows.
this
I'm
ahead?
sure it's right with Jake.
Jake's on his stuff. It's
He
not-
is on his stuff,
Jake
but
is
I
on his
mean-
stuff.
Specifically with Utah, he is too.
Yep, so there you go. Adrian Wojnarowski now saying Utah had some conversations on trading numbers 9 and 16, but appear to be standing pat.
Woj can't stay
Keontae
away.
George has been high on board
Can't
for
do
number
it.
6. What'd you say?
Woj can't stay away.
He can't. No, he really can't. He was like, I was going to do it, but people are killing me in the mentions.
Keontae George, he of course showed up on my not Calvin Booth type of guys because he is a 6'4" scoring 2-guard. Not really a defender, but he's an incredible offensive talent. Just spent 1 year at Baylor. Wasn't that efficient, but like he can really fill it up from 2-point range, pulling up off the bounce, floaters, finishing at the rim. Like he comes into the NBA with a ton of offensive talent. You know, what else is he going to be able to do? We'll see. But yeah, offense is kind of his thing.
Is there a school that you are like, you know, you like when guys come from that school?
Villanova.
Yeah.
I'm in on Kansas now.
Kansas? Are you?
You got one good Kansas player?
I was in, but I might be out now.
No,
Grady did.
Yeah, good counter. Good counter.
So, do you have one?
I don't think so. Not right now. Like,
I mean, I've always liked UCLA guys too.
Yeah. Is there a reason for it? They used to
Just because I liked UCLA growing up.
Maybe Baylor for me. They're all role players. None of them are stars. None. But they all play hard defense. They're always going to be in a rotation. Yeah, maybe Baylor for me.
Do you remember this era? Who was the player at the draft that you were most hyped for, of the Jokic era? Is there a player that you think you can remember back to being like, that's when I was the most hyped? Because when Jokic got drafted, I was high on him at Summer League, but at the draft, like, I don't even know if I was watching
For
it.
Nuggets players?
Yeah.
When the Nuggets drafted Michael Porter,
It's Porter, yeah.
I was like, fuck yes. Fuck yeah. Because, like, adding Porter to what we had already figured out was, like, an incredible Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray core by then was like, wow, like, we really might have a super team here.
Yeah, and also...
Hey, guess what? You were right.
Yeah, we also just never mentally prepared for him to slide that far, especially because the Clippers picked twice.
Right, we were like, the Clippers have to take him.
Who did they take at 13 again?
Jerome Robinson.
There it is. And once that happened, we were like, no way.
Yep.
This is happening?
Yep.
And obviously, we held our breath and crossed our fingers from there.
It was definitely Porter.
Do you have one?
I think
That was a great
The easy answer is MPJ. Just because you know about him, you heard about him, but he just kept falling. And you're like, whoa, if you could get that guy, he doesn't have to play right now, but eventually he's going to play. He's going to be a star, especially if he stays away from injuries. And now look, he's an NBA champion. So, yeah, I think that's the easy answer. I liked Monte a lot just because he was a point guard. You got him late.
He was clearly the best player they drafted that night.
I really liked he came in and said all the right things. He took care of the ball. And that was coming off of like the Moutier.
But at the draft, though, you were like, oh, man, they got Monte?
Well, I just knew that the assist-to-turnover ratio was what they talked about so much that I was so tired of seeing Moutier. So I was just like, they got another point guard that takes care of the ball. That was big for me.
Yeah. I'm going to throw, I think Michael Porter's the right one because of how out of left field it was, but equally out of left field, honestly, was Bol Bol. When the Nuggets drafted him, I was already doing a show at that time from Ball Arena or Pepsi Center at the time. I remember recording because they didn't have a pick. They had to, like, buy it.
Yeah, they
and I remember
bought
being like, what? The Nuggets bought a pick and they're taking Bol Bol?
That was a Tim Connolly special, is what that was. I mean, that was
in the air.
Yeah, that was an ultimate Tim Connolly heat check, man. And it didn't work out, but I love them taking the chance.
I just like to envision Tim Conley in the war room with everybody else, including Mr. K. And Bol Bol slides to 15. He's like, hey, man, we should consider trading up and getting Bol. He slides to 25. And he's like, guys, we got to do it. They're like,
Second
no.
round,
And finally he's at like 40. And he's like, come on. Just give me $200,000.
That draft, the Bol Bol one, was like a different time, like completely, because that's when we used to go down to the arena. Like everybody was there at the arena, and it was just like an underwhelming night because we were all in the same room. They got us pizzas and stuff like that. Me and TJ McBride was like walking back to the car when they made the pick, and they were like running back up there to do the press conference or just the conference call and whatnot. But yeah, that was just a different time, and it came out of left field completely.
Yeah.
And then it was Bol Bol. So you're like, This is fun. This is just fun.
Totally. When they drafted Jamal, too, we still didn't really know what we had with Nikola Jokic. He was coming off his rookie season. We were excited, but like there was always the Buddy Hield, Jamal Murray debate back then in that draft, and it was just always pretty obvious, I think, to us for sure that Jamal was the better pick. And I just remember when New Orleans took Buddy Hield,
Right.
like we got Jamal Murray, man. Like that was exciting as well.
And that's the highest pick, right? On
Seven,
this,
yeah.
On this, well, before AG, but Denver's picks. Yeah. So that's the one.
But the Jamal one was like so many other good players that were around that like names kept on popping up. Like I remember that they thought that Jaylen Brown was gonna fall like a lot more. The Chris Dunn, Buddy Hield was like names that you kept hearing all the time.
Yeah.
So it made sense there. There was like weird player. Denzel Washington was in that one.
But Denzel Valentine?
Valentine, sorry.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. Denzel Valentine was in that
I
one.
liked him.
And then they also did like...
All right.
Yeah, they did all those draft like workouts. Those were like the big names that were coming into those workouts.
Right.
So yeah, that one was like, I don't think anybody expected them to grab Jamal Murray.
Yeah, a third on that list for me is when they took Peter Cornely 51st. Like
You were
that to me was like a moment.
You were excited for Peter Cornely?
And then I didn't know it at the time, but once I started researching that Thomas Welsh pick, I got excited really fast.
Yeah, but they got that was Juancho and Malik Beasley too, right?
Juancho, Malik
With
Beasley, Jamal.
Yeah.
Yeah, all at once.
And Peter Cornely.
Which was a cool draft though, getting three guys,
Petter.
the old photos and everything, man. It's bringing
Petter.
back great memories. They're bringing some really great memories. Lakers are on the clock at the moment, waiting
who
for
cares?
them. Yeah, who cares? But in the meantime, do we have an updated big board? Oh, we do not. All right, we'll go to it here just a little bit. The Lakers on the clock. Oh, there it is. Keontae George also off of there, and Kobe Buffkin. So you see now the guys that are falling. Nick Smith Jr.,
Point guard.
he's falling, and then Jalen Hood, JHS. What can you tell me about it?
JHS, another guard.
Are you surprised at all to see these guys falling?
No, I mean, in the teens, there's some variability for sure. I mean, Cam Whitmore is obviously the biggest story so far. Other than that, it's gone pretty much as schedule, I think. But if we're talking about guys who were on all our boards, I think Dev's the only one who's had one guy go, and that's Keontae George. Everybody else from our boards is still on.
Well, it's because we pick guys, obviously.
I know, but that's what I'm
here.
saying. There hasn't been like any massive reaches in that respect.
Gotcha. Jaime Jaquez, I guess we are kind of coming out. We're only at 17, but some people had him as high as like 20th, tonight.
Is there a number? I know Denver's limited in how far they get, but is there a number that we pass here where some of these guys are available and you switch into, I hope they get aggressive
Oh,
here?
I think once you get to 20, I think that's a range where you can trade up to with where the Nuggets are. Once you hit 20.
And I wonder, man, because
some of these guys are...
I just wonder, like, what is the deal with Cam? Is there a number where you will start to get surprised that he's falling?
No, I mean, we have no idea what the medicals look like. The teams do. So, I mean, who knows? Yeah, it's tough to put an expectation on it. Lakers, Heat, Warriors, Rockets. So the Warriors, there's talk they've wanted a guy who can contribute now, so they're probably not taking him. The Lakers probably want a now contributor as well. The Rockets could probably afford to wait on somebody, though.
Here's a good, because I see people saying, why not, package Zeke Naji in 29? I don't know how much that gets you, but let me ask you
That
this.
might get you to 30.
You are such a hater. Let me ask Dev this one then. Dev, because since I already know the haters on the couch over there. Is there a team, if you traded Zeke Naji, that you would be scared he would come back to haunt you?
No.
Come on.
Not for Zeke Naji.
Man, we are so brutal on poor Zeke.
I like
He's not gonna
Zeke.
scare you.
being
He doesn't scare you at all. Like, they've got rid of, like, Bones. I feel like that's a player that you could be, because he can go for
'Cause he can
30
go
at
off,
some point.
yeah.
He can go.
Like, am I worried about Zeke Naji going 1 of 4
Zeke's gonna-
from 3? No.
You're going to set 25 screens on us tonight. And we're going to be panicking.
Like, am I worried about him switching out to guard Jamal? Like, maybe a little bit, but
There's no way. It's actually you saying that because I'm all high on his defense, and you just saying that makes me think like, no way, man. Can you imagine like the Nuggets lose a playoff series because Zeke Naji shut down Jamal Murray? I can't picture it, and I love Zeke.
Exactly. I'm just being realistic, man. I just tell it how it is on this
I'm
show.
just laughing at wind, man.
Man, poor Zeke.
Oh, they
Naji.
might move you back to 30 because you have to take on his $4 million in salary.
No. Is there a player? I mean, is there a team that you would be afraid of?
No, because to your point, you're right. I will say this. The Nuggets bench looked good 2 times this entire year. One was the playoff run when they ended up staggering Aaron Gordon at center and playing Murray. 2 starters, effectively. The other time was when Zeke Naji was on the court with Matko Janchar playing the switch all defense.
Totally.
I'm with you that I don't think Zeke is phenomenal, but I will say this, man. Would you be absolutely surprised? He might be an 82-game player at first or whatever, but I just wouldn't be surprised if Zeke Naji actually got us through the regular season next year.
No, because he's done that the last couple regular seasons. Like,
for portions. He always gets hurt.
I'm being a little like wild here. Zeke Naji, I think, is a good player. He's a good bench big to have. He can shoot it. I mean, he could shoot it in the past before this last year. He's versatile defensively. He's a good kid. Like, I like him, but no, I'm not scared about him hurting the Nuggets.
It's the fear factor. If you didn't put the word scared up, like
that's
Zeke
why we
doesn't
laughed.
scare anybody. Like, he's a good rotation player, and he's always like he's going to be in the league for a very long time because he's a fit for a lot of teams. He does not scare anyone.
Here's the real question, though. Like, if you were just to set the percentage right now, or the odds, if you will, that Zeke Naji, say he's on the roster, what are the odds that he is the de facto backup 4 or 5 to start the season next year?
I think pretty high right now.
Really? So you think they're not going to bring in any vets that would compete with him, and they're not going to draft anyone that might
Well, they could bring
surpass him?
Jeff and DeAndre back.
That's what I mean.
And I think Zeke could earn a spot over those guys next year.
Really?
Actually, now that I say that and you object, probably not. But here, let me
What would you
clarify.
put the percentage of that? Yeah.
You know I suck at this. I'll say 40. Here's
Less than half, yeah.
I think Zeke could earn it outright, but I could see Malone making a different choice.
What do you think?
The percentage?
Yeah.
20%.
So you think you're really low on Zeke?
Yeah, because we just seen him have his best summer ever where all the hype was on him and he had high expectations coming into the year that we said 100% he's part of the rotation. And then they let Jeff Green play over him. Vlatko got to play over him at random times.
Yeah.
They brought in a Thomas Bryant to try to answer. They're just trying everything to go not him. So, like, there's something there to it. And, again, I think it goes back to the fear factor. No one's scared of him. He's just a good, serviceable player.
There's a new pick in there, Kale. The Lakers have made their decision. They found their man. Lakers, with the 17th pick, are taking Jalen Hood Schifino.
Sure.
Schifino.
Jalen JHS, as we call him.
That's what we're calling him.
6'4" combo guard, 20 years old with a 6'10" wingspan, so he's really long. You know, we've had like a lot of athletes, a lot of like high flyers. He's more of a cerebral guard who's like more of a playmaker, lives in the mid-range, really nice feel for the game. He showed that at Indiana last year. Really crafty in the pick and roll, just plays at a really good speed, but he has been an inconsistent shooter in college. A lot of people comp him to like a Spencer Dinwiddie type.
Okay. Doesn't put a lot of pressure on the rim, though? Is that one of the knocks, one of the negatives?
Yeah.
Do you have a JHS take?
No, but I remember him having a monster game against Purdue. He's just super inconsistent because everybody talked about him being so good, and then he would just disappear at random times.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, he has the long wingspan, and he takes care of the ball, so, like, this is a high IQ player. But I don't know where he fits on the Lakers team. That's more of what it is. I don't know what his fit is.
Yeah, I automatically don't like him. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, now that he's drafted by the Lakers, I just want to point out he comes in under 6'5", so like how good could he be?
He was super good at the combine, though. Right?
Vote hates short people. He really
tested
does.
super well because the wingspan stood out, like with his size. Where
Short
it was like,
with
hey,
a 6'10" wingspan.
He's intriguing.
He shot 33% from 3. Is there hope on the form long term? Is that just interesting? It's so hard with college, man. You always see like the scouts, like this guy can really shoot, and then the numbers are like 34%.
Right.
It's hard to know, but.
Report from Brian Blackburn, who is at the media room at Ball Arena. He says everyone's falling asleep.
There's 3 people there, I think. I'm not kidding.
I'm excited for Calvin Booth's presser later because he's not going to be able to talk about any of the players he drafted.
That's
I'm
so
pretty
true.
sure. None of these trades are official.
That is
Like whoever they draft at 29 is going to be wearing a Pacer hat.
Do you guys remember this? I know Vote. I'm almost certain. Actually, I don't know if you were here yet. Vote. The all-timer, I think it was 2017 NBA draft because it also was free agency when they got Leiden, they got Monte, and they also got Trey Lyles. And I think there's one other person standing up there, and I don't remember who it was. Was it?
You're talking about the flag picture?
They didn't have a jersey because they were usually you're holding your jersey and your number and it's got it on. But they had scheduled a new jersey release for like the following week.
Wouldn't that also be the Monte Welsh year?
It was Welsh. Maybe it was Welsh was the guy. Maybe,
no, I think it was 3 guys.
Oh, it's just the 3 of them?
I think it was just the 3.
And
Monte, Tyler Lydon, Trey Lyles.
And they're standing awkwardly holding an old school Denver Nuggets flag.
Yeah.
And it was just a total like, oh man, we forgot to plan for this, didn't we? We don't
I
have
really
a plan
wonder
here.
what Trey Lyles was thinking in that photo.
This ain't gonna
because
work.
like Monte Morris, Tyler Lydon, 2 rookies, they really have no idea what's going on. Trey Lyles is like, where am I?
He's thinking, I should have signed that Utah Jazz hustle contract. Man, I really messed
I
up.
should have liked Quinn Snyder's practices a little more.
Yeah.
Hey man, shouts to him though. Trey
Big time
Lyles.
minutes.
Man, he's playing real minutes. He had some good games.
Big time minutes.
You know what? Good pick in hindsight. Good pick in hindsight. As we sit here and wait, what did you have something?
No.
What are the best picks? If you could say, let's say the 5 best picks of this era, what would you go? I mean, Jokic number 1. He's the greatest pick of all time. Honestly, he might be the greatest pick of all time. I think he's the best draft pick.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Jamal Murray at number 7. That's just like Jamal Murray, maybe the best player of that class. Brandon Ingram, Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown, Buddy Hield, Mario Hazonia,
Chris Dunn.
No, Chris Dunn was he that year? He might have been actually.
Maybe.
Or I think it was the year before. Who was? There's one guy I'm missing here. Was it? It was one of the bus. Was it
Dragan
Chris?
Bender?
Yeah, Bender or Chris. One of those 2 guys was there, and then him. So I think you have
Bender
a case
was
that
4.
he was the best pick of that class, and he went at 7. So I think it's him. 3rd best pick of the draft, is it Michael Porter?
Why not?
It's Michael Porter. I mean, Monte Morris
maybe?
might
Monte.
be it as well. I mean, just to get a guy who's been a starting point guard for the last 2 years that late is pretty incredible.
And he's still around. He's still in the league. He's still a starter. Teams still want him. So like he's going to be a serviceable backup after he stops being a starter. And you got him so late. So yeah.
Then after that, I would say it's probably Gary Harris.
Gary Harris at 14.
sneaky
Well,
Great pick.
he was the trade, right? Draft night trade.
Here's a
But it's
note.
still a draft
Here's a
pick.
note
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Gary Harris that I just looked up the other night. He has a totally non-guaranteed salary on the Magic for next year. They have until June 30th to either guarantee or non-guarantee his salary.
Here we
I'm
go.
thinking
Here we
they're
go.
going to non-guarantee it. So he's going to be a free agent. Like, that could be a dark horse Bruce Brown replacement as well.
Do we want Gary Harris back?
In the Bruce Brown role,
First of all, they all do. Everyone watching at home.
Bring him back?
That's a hard
think
yes.
It's an
Do you want Gary
intriguing.
Harris back?
I think it's an intriguing Bruce Brown replacement. Gary Harris shot 43% from 3 last year. He got a shot back.
Can he be the Bruce Brown, though? Like, defensively, yes, but the question is, you've got Christian Brown, Peyton Watson, we kind of pencil in 2-3. Can he be the one?
He's not as much of a one as Bruce. No, he's not.
With that
But-
lineup, can you make that lineup work? Gary Harris, Christian Brown, Peyton Watson is your 1-2-3?
I didn't answer that for a reason.
No.
Gary Harris, I don't want Gary Harris back. He had his time. He was good for his time. I don't want Gary Harris back. I don't want PJ Dozier back. They were good.
I'm with you on PJ Dozier.
That has no sentimental value. He's like, man, those guys, get them out
What
of
have
here,
you done
man.
for me lately?
You're not wrong, though. You're not wrong. You're right. Even the PJ Dozier one is tough.
I will say this, regardless of the Denver repairing, there is a mini Gary resurgence. He's been playing better lately when on the floor. Now, these are low leverage minutes in Orlando, but he whittled his way all the way down to like really rough places offensively in Denver. Like it all fell off a cliff, but he's putting a lot of it back together, particularly the shot, particularly from the corner. So some food for thought. He's better than he was when he was struggling last in Denver.
The internet is in love with Victor Wembanyama because he was asked what he's excited most about San Antonio, and he said breakfast tacos. Which is a very
This
that's
is
pandering.
this is a A-level pander.
A-level pander.
He's got a great agent.
Really,
for
really
sure.
good job there. But also, I kept wondering, like, how many breakfast tacos do you think he eats? I'm gonna go with 1.5.
Oh, I was gonna go the other direction. Like a ton.
He's only 220, man.
Yeah.
He's only 220.
Victor Wembanyama, like the only other thing he could have said was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to visit the Alamo."
The Alamo. Are San Antonio people proud of the Alamo?
No.
He probably eats a ton. It's just his metabolism just isn't there.
Oh no, it's a heartbreaker, everybody. The pick is
heartbreaker.
in. Miami is taken.
Jaime Hawkins
No, the
Jr..
Heat. How come the Heat got to do it?
Oh,
They're
man.
looking for dogs.
Man, they got some dogs.
He
So
is
in
a
all
dog.
sincerity, I mean, I do love it. He does remind me of Jalen Williams. Honestly, a little bit. The guy that where you're like, how is he this low? Wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be one of the best players. He's so long. He's got such craft.
You see that comment?
What happened?
What the hell is a breakfast taco?
What?
Sorry, keep going. Keep going.
That's hilarious. Jaime Jaquez, man. Give us the rundown just real quick, just so we can keep
He's
the
got a
format.
great all-around game. You know, 6'6", 6'10" wingspan. He's versatile. Good offensive game, and he's a hustler defensively.
Heat culture.
Friend of the show, Kristen Peak, told this story last night on her show about Jaime Jaquez at UCLA. Similar to the Nuggets defensive player of the game chain, at UCLA they have a dog bone that you sign. Whoever gets the most 50-50 balls in a game signs their name on this dog bone. Whoever has the most signatures at the end of the season gets to keep the dog bone. He won it all 4 years at UCLA. Like, nobody has ever had more dog in him than this guy.
He has the most dog in him?
He's got 4 dog bones at his house.
He has 4 dogs in him.
He's collecting dog bones,
Yeah,
man.
he's
He really
got
might
4
have
dogs.
it.
I will say he does have a Miami look.
And profile. Dog in him. Hustler. Dude, this is a Heat culture player, bro.
He looks like he could be in with the hair. I mean, look at that, unbelievable. He looks like he could be in one of the Miami TV shows or something. You know, one of those down there. He also looks like Adam Driver. Is it Adam Driver?
Adam Driver,
Yeah, it looks like him, right? I feel
He looks like a cross between Adam Driver and Adam Morrison.
He does. He really does, actually. What a look.
Also, he's a Mexican, right? Like that. He's a Mexican American player, and there's not many of those in the NBA.
Yeah, it's like him
That's why I'm all about
he has
it,
that
man.
chip.
It looks like a white guy, but he's actually a Latino.
This is what
I'm
Matt
for it.
Bowden looked like when he was
Big
like
nose, even. I'm telling you,
You know
Could
what?
be Amara's descendant.
really could be my cousin, man.
I like the hair.
Dude, are you kidding me? He
He's
looks
got a great
no,
look to him.
You know how you can tell some people like nailed their look?
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's you.
Yeah.
That's him, man. He's nailed it. Jaime Jaquez.
The
we are
best
very,
part about that hair is when you get drafted, you can do the hand in your hair thing.
Oh, my
just
God.
take
He's
breath.
got
Like,
great
oh, I
flow.
can't believe
my
it,
guy
bro.
is shining right here. Put the
Yeah.
great
Oh,
suit.
little hair
Grady
flip.
Dick, that's how you do it, man. That's just it's like loud, subtle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not
He
everybody
does
pulls
look
out
like
the
a pirate.
brown tan suit, but then he pulls it off. Unbelievable. I'm actually legitimately, but I knew he was not going to be available.
Of course.
But I am a little bit bummed.
You all put him on your list anyway.
Oh, yeah, of course we did, man. A week ago, he was like 50th. I don't know how he rose this fast.
a year from now, we're gonna be like, he's all right.
You don't think he's good?
No,
Dev, not impressed with the hair. What is
it's
it
just,
about him?
It's just only hustle.
It's
He's
all
like
hustle.
only a hustle
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
And there's been a lot of those in college that don't pan out in the NBA. I think that he has a college game, and that's great. But not athletic, doesn't do anything exceptionally well. But he has heart, and you're never going to stop that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's his mom, because that might change some things.
Oh my God. Dev, the absolute worst.
All right, we've got a new top 5 board for next year. Dev's top 5.
Yeah, I mean, dogging him and hot mom, like two important qualities when you're assessing draft prospects.
Unbelievable, man.
Lindsay, can you get me a Modelo with a lime?
Yeah, actually, some beers wouldn't be the worst.
Yeah, Lindsay.
Let's see what else we got going on. Well, hold on a second. The Miami Heat do have a handful of this mold of player too, though. I almost feel like he does fit in, not just the hustleness, but they do have. I'm saying this with affection because I love the dude. He's a little goofy looking, you know.
Yeah.
They've got a handful of goofy looking dudes on their team. Like they are the Spurs, the new Spurs, in that they have guys that look like they should all suck. But here they are out running off. Max Strus looks like he should suck at basketball.
Yeah, that's probably
that's
like
true.
a big Spoelstra thing. Like, hey, we don't care what you look like, man. Just come in here and just work hard.
I could see Spoelstra saying
Just
that.
come out here and work hard. We don't care about anything else. Like, he probably tells them, we don't care about your high school, stars or what college you went to, your look. Just come and bring it every single day.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler's like, yeah, I'm gonna wear dreads. I'm gonna wear dreads on the first day.
You know what? He kind of looks like a Guy Fawkes mask.
A guy who what?
A Guy Fawkes mask. You don't know this?
Oh my God, he does. The V for
Anonymous?
Vendetta?
Yeah, V for Vendetta.
Oh, okay.
He kind of does. I think we've spent a lot of time on how he looks.
That's honest.
I'm not
We're
wrong.
doing it in the tug-in-cheek way, but when you read draft profiles, it's actually all how they look, just in
it's so
elevated
true.
ways. Really long torso with great wingspan and a long neck, and you're just like, hold on, this is it's like it's a horse or something. All right, we got another board, Kale. Oh, nope, we got another pick.
We got a pick. Wow.
Man, no need to wait. The pick is
it
in.
Whitmore?
The chat calling him
Golden State. Oh, my goodness. Golden State is selecting Brandon Podziemski.
Someone in the
Okay,
chat
so-
called him Brandon Podcast.
So this is the guy who looks like our intern, Nick.
Oh my God, he does.
Nick, come on the show here. Come on the show
We
here.
have
We gotta
our
get
own
up.
Brandon Podziemski.
All right, Everett, you be the judge, chat. Just hop in right here. What do you think?
Yeah, hop in behind
Actually,
us
we
so
should
we
do
can
a
go.
full interview.
Hop in
Brandon,
behind us so we can go the two
you
camera shot.
you just went to the Golden State Warriors. What are you, man? How's it feel to play with Hall of Fame point guard Chris Paul?
I knew you were gonna ask me this. Let's see. I think it's great to learn from such a dickhead on the court, pretty much. I mean, it's great experience.
What do you think about the Bay Area in general? You're from Santa Clara, so you're not moving far from home.
Oh, that is true. So you see, it's very preppy. It's very I don't know, very
A lot of
very
tech going
trash,
on. A lot of tech people in there.
It's just like
I
not
love
the
it. He's
best
from
ever,
North
but-
Carolina, so I love his impression of he's just giving takes on state stuff.
Zoom in on the two shot, Cal.
Yeah, can we get a side by
There we
side
go.
here?
Yeah.
Is there like any picture you can pull up?
We have our own Brandon podcast.
Real quick though, just give me the quick rundown here. I know people are wondering what are the Warriors getting here?
They are getting a 6'4" guard,
Killed, dude.
6'6" wingspan, so not the biggest guy, 20 years old. He's kind of a guy who can play both backcourt positions. I mean, he's really similar to a guy they've already got on the roster and kind of looks like him too, Dante DiVincenzo. So this is also a pick that's been mocked to the Warriors forever. Like, this has been the guy that everybody has always thought they were taking. So another guard for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Do we have the side by side? Cal, pull it up here. Let's see how accurate we are here with our intern.
Which camera is it? That one?
There he is. All right, that's like a side profile. Look to the side now, Nick.
All right, here we go.
He just has curly hair and he's a white guy.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he looks that much like me. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you have any draft takes, Nick?
No. I hope that we trade up.
For?
I don't know.
He's like, I don't have a guy. I just like trading up.
I don't know. Let's see. I don't really know. It's just like I want us to draft someone who's a 3-and-D, round 6'5", pretty standard. So
Yeah, the bar is
that's all I
loving
have.
the Brandon Podziemski pick.
I did as much draft like studying as you guys did.
All right,
so,
thank you, Nick. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, swap it back down. Get back out of here, Vote. Vote grabbed himself a beer.
I was talking to a source with the Nuggets just now.
That was Nick.
Well, that was Brandon Podsmisky.
Uh-huh.
I was texting with the source of the Nuggets. The draft's gone. the draft's gone pretty on schedule so far. So they got a lot of guys out there that they like, who are still on the board.
That's exactly what I would say as well. By the way, we do have another pick that's in, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. So we're gonna have back-to-back pick is in. The Houston Rockets. This makes sense. According to Woj, strongly considering ending Cam Whitmore's slide at number 20.
And there's the number.
But then he says decision looming there, though.
That means it's happening. Woj has declared he's not going to blow these picks.
Oh, I love it. So this
he's
is
back to the lasered in on.
Yeah.
All right, he's back to lasering in on.
Yeah.
So
the Rockets, it makes sense.
They can take a chance because they had multiple first-round picks. They got a lot of young talent. But I was also told just now with Cam Whitmore, bad medical, but also bad intel. Just like bad background on him too. So
On Whitmore?
Yeah.
Fit right in with the Rockets.
Well, my Villanova take looks great.
It's insane how much he fits into the Rockets because like he had the best vert out of any player in the draft. They're all athletes over there. They're all like kind of after themselves. Like let's just go out there and get a bucket. He can do those two things. But the guy just flies out the gym. And just a good player. Like he's a secondary star that you just feel like you can just build around, I guess. And that's all they have over with Houston is a lot of build around guys.
And the crowd loves the pick, man. The crowd just can't.
Really loves
A lot of people compare Cam Whitmore to a Miles Bridges for what he does on the court.
Oh, Jesus.
Specifically. 6'6".
After bad intel.
19 years old. He's kind of like a 3-4 type guy. A guy who you can slot into a lot of small ball lineups. Versatile. Good defender as well. But a lot of question marks, obviously, about his medical and his intel.
Yeah. I will say this: draft Twitter in love with Houston's draft.
I mean, every year they're in love with Houston's draft.
Houston drafts like NBA 2K. That's the Houston Rockets type of draft.
God, yeah. Didn't Houston hire just a bunch of people from draft Twitter as well?
They did, yeah. Them in Memphis, I think, made it happen. The thing about it is I bet they are. I bet they are accumulating more talented prospects.
Absolutely.
But they're going to need a direction and a culture pretty soon, or it's all going to be for naught, you know?
Yeah, it should be interesting. So we're less than 10 picks away now from the Denver Nuggets selecting there. You see that final column right now. And we do have the Pacers on there at 29 instead of the Nuggets.
It's not official yet, Adam.
That's not an official trade, apparently. But yeah, just 10 picks away. And do we have the updated big board, by the way, too, Kale? All right, let's take a look at the big board because we've kind of caught up now. Nick Smith now the biggest dropper on the board here.
Yeah, the other guy, too, for me that I'm surprised to still see on the board is Bryce Sensabaugh, who I think would be a sensible pick about now.
Yeah, you couldn't wait for it, huh? You just had to do it now.
I could. I think it'd be sensible.
You're like 2 drinks into your first beer, and that's what happened.
Sips in. That guy can really score. That guy can really shoot. And I think, I mean, I'm not super surprised, but to me, he's in the crop of guys I'd expect to see go soon here.
All right, what is our last top 5 we have there, Kale? We have one more? Top 5 ready now. Chris Murray still on the board. Jaime Jaquez not still on the board. He is there now with Miami. They got Trace Jackson Davis, Andre Jackson Jr., and Colby Jones. So still 4 out of 5 guys ready now, but those are all guys that are projected to go here in this next 10. So a lot of ready now players here, which I guess makes sense because the final 10, the picks 20 through 30 are always teams that are playoff teams.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So it makes sense that would be the bundle of most ready now guys.
Yeah.
I feel you, AJ.
Where else do you guys want to go from here?
I mean, we could probably recheck in on our boards, potentially.
Each of our 5s?
Yeah. Because there's one guy that's off of
everybody's.
And that's Jaime Jaquez off of ours. You had the Baylor kid off of yours.
Yeah, I didn't put mine on there because he was never going to fall.
Yeah.
But
I'm calling it. Jordan Walsh is going to be a Nugget.
Maybe.
He's going to be a Nugget. I don't know if it's 29. I don't know if it's 32. I don't know if it's 37, you guys.
And I'm sorry, what's that Houston's guard name again?
I don't know. Just check draft Twitter.
Sasser? Is that
Marcus? Oh, the University of Houston.
Yeah.
Marcus Sasser.
Sasser.
Yeah, Marcus Sasser.
I think he's on the radar as well. Still at this point, obviously.
According to Jonathan Gavoni.
I'm down to talk about our boards a little bit.
Yeah.
Who's had the most people go? Is it Dev?
I think we've each had one guy go off all our boards. Because we had Jaime Jaquez, Dev had Keontae George. Yeah.
I think I'm still.
Oh,
good.
yeah. You have all 5 still on there.
Because, again, I did this the right way.
Chris Murray feels like he's about to go. I mean, he's one of the best players available.
He's got to go soon, or someone's going to trade up to get him, I would think. This guy is a guy that could contribute pretty soon. And then the other guys on my list, I think they will probably last. Really excited that Colby Jones is still there. But Chris, if you wanted him, would be a guy to trade up for. Not sure that Denver can do that or should do that. But he's another guy I expect to go pretty soon.
Yeah.
Real quick intermission. How crazy is it that we had a tornado through town today? People on the outside of Denver don't realize that. There's a tornado that had an actual track through Highlands Ranch.
I was driving. It was a real hailstorm.
You drove through the hailstorm?
A real one.
You did? You got stuck in it?
My last 2-3 weeks have been just real hailstorms, especially in my area. I'll come from down here or come from Denver and go back to I stay in Parker. And it's just crazy hailstorms. But today was an actual tornado warning. I was terrified.
There was an actual tornado. Have you not seen the pictures?
The pictures are crazy.
An actual tornado through Colorado. It's almost weird that that's not top news. When I was a kid, a tornado, that was the biggest news of my...
Is that really infrequent around here?
Tornadoes are infrequent in general, but they don't hit the city very often. Usually it's the plains, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
But a city actually go through it. No injuries. No injuries.
Kansas.
No injuries reported, so thankfully everybody healthy. But
tonight.
If you look at the map the tornado touched down on, it's all of Highlands Ranch. It just went through all of it, so a little bit wild. Michael Malone, a Highlands Ranch native, so who knows? Maybe it maybe even affected him. Anybody getting a Denver Nuggets tattoo?
I've thought about it.
I'm not
Kale's
allowed.
going to do it. I kind of want a tiny pickaxe somewhere, not a big thing, but just somewhere, just to remind myself what we waited for and ultimately saw together. I kind of want one.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I might get one pickaxe on each knuckle after each ring, so I leave Denver with 8 finger tattoos. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Dev's top 5 just to
The 5 stars.
The 5 stars.
These are the 5 stars. And then I just feel like I had to throw in Jaime. It just makes sense because I felt like he
You didn't even like him.
I didn't like him. But he was I didn't think he was going to go this early. I thought that he would actually be available. And also, Denver seems to fit that mode of getting that hard-working guy. So, it was a perfect fit. Everyone else, though, really, it was the 5 stars. I had to go after 5 stars because I really do think that Calvin Booth looks into, the potential of how good they were at their highest.
Look at Peyton.
And see if they could actually, fit into something or get back to playing at that level, especially with size, athleticism, and talent. And I feel like that's what he does is, he goes after that.
Well, there you go. So who's on the board right now? Who's on the clock?
The Brooklyn Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets. Man, what an interesting team Brooklyn is. Where do you think they go from here? Because I like their roster, but they just don't have a star. They definitively do not have a superstar.
They don't have a superstar. I do think they have a star. I think they have a star in Bridges. I'm not going to say superstar, but a budding star at a controllable contract. So I think you just start there.
If he was on the Nuggets' roster, just added him to him, he would be the
MPJ.
3rd, 4th best player?
Yeah.
4th best?
I would think 3rd. I actually think 3rd maybe. Because he's just at a higher place defensively right now than MPJ. And catch and shoot, he's so reliable. So it's
Aaron Gordon might be number 3, though, too. Honestly,
Sure,
man, he's so impactful. His defensive versatility. But Mikal Bridges is a pretty good defender. The thing about Mikal Bridges is he's an elite defender against 90% of the league. But there are players that he just has no impact on.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But I love him. He's one of my favorites. Cam Johnson. Oh, by the way, Dorian Finney-Smith. Did you see the report that he is following the Nuggets on Instagram?
Yeah, and then I looked and he's not. So.
Oh, I love the internet.
Is there anything better than the updated following on Instagram, Ruben. I actually
Especially
love
when
it.
it's not real.
I can't believe that people really look into that every single time, that they're just refreshing their. I wonder if he stopped following this person, or I wonder how do they know the before and after also?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, look who's following LeBron. I'm like, the world? Like, well, how do you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I liked the one I saw today was someone saw that Jordan Poole immediately unfollowed Draymond Green. Just couldn't. Yeah, I'm good on that. Thanks, bud.
That's hilarious, man. But speaking of which, how about Jordan Poole?
Man.
Roughest year people could have, man. And I'll say this. We were talking about this upstairs. I compared Bones Highland to Jordan Poole. And then, because I was like, he can be that. Jordan Poole helped a championship team and this or that. I think I actually nailed it. The thing I was wrong about, but Jordan Poole might actually just be bad. I was saying that as a thing of like, oh man, Bones can be this good. But I think it's really that Jordan Poole got all that money for destroying the Denver Nuggets.
In really just 2.5 games.
That's all it took.
Yeah. It was really similar to the Bones situation, though, I feel like, because it was so clear, obviously, from the start of last season that entire team was kind of out on him. And the more we found out this year, it was pretty clear that the entire team was out on Bones early on this season, too. And you saw that filter out onto the court with the Warriors. I think you saw it with the Nuggets, too. So it's a situation where if you're trying to win a championship, you need everybody pulling in the right direction, and both those guys just were not.
Yeah. All right, a new pick is in, Kale. Brooklyn has made their decision, and who should they take? They are selecting with the 21st pick, Noah Clowney. Noah Clowney, a big man out of Alabama, freshman, 6'10", 18-year-old, kind of a Wendell Carter type of player. His strengths, though, he's really mobile. I mean, he's got a 7'2" wingspan, great energy, a hustler, a runner, a shot blocker as well. He plays hard, so you love that out of a big man, especially a young guy that he's going to play hard. Hard-nosed rebounder as well. And he's one of the youngest players in the class, too. He's about to turn 19. He's not even 19 yet. But he's got to bulk up. He's got to add strength. Probably a guy who's, a year away from being a contributor. So he's a stash. Or like a like just a low minutes usage guy.
He's 18 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of this pick, Dev?
I think he's just a role player. And at 6'10", you take chances on big men that can impact the game. You can put him in for a few minutes, see if he learns, see what he measures out and gets to. So I don't think that you could go wrong with bigs that are mobile, that can protect the paint, that can score in the open court. So I think that is just a good fit.
I also think we're at that time in the draft now where you're going to see teams vary a bit from the consensus boards. We're in that middle morass where, we saw Calvin just had a different value on Christian Brown and Peyton Watson than everyone else. And I think we're at that part of the draft where teams none of these guys are home runs. None of these guys are sure things. So it's about their philosophies, the guys they've identified. And I think you're going to start to see, I don't want to say weird selections, but it sort of spreads out a bit more from here.
Yeah. They have another pick. Is that right? Is this a back-to-back picks for Brooklyn here? I remember Brooklyn was one team that we looked at thinking maybe they would trade one of these two picks just because they're taking 2 in a row, but kind of an interesting spot. You think about teams to draft 2 in a row, I always just think back to the Clippers.
Of course.
The Clippers, and one of them was just so wasted.
Yeah. They hit massively on one, they busted massively on one. One got them Paul George.
Yeah. That's who it was, right? Shea and then
Jerome Robinson.
Who
barely played in the league.
So here they have one. And then we just inch closer and closer. Then you got Portland on the clock after that. Sacramento, Boston picking. By the way, Portland, not a lot of movement there. Not a lot of rumors there. Oh, Ryan Green's here flipping everybody off. How classy of you, Ryan. How classy. By the way,
one has to wonder where he's been the whole night.
Big vlog. I don't know.
His
we were
was
watching.
awesome. Yeah.
His sketch was awesome. RG, that's all RG. Also, do we know when the big video's dropping?
I don't know when, but it's done.
RG has a nice finals video coming up that is I'm not going to, the only thing I'm going to tell you is it's roughly an hour.
Oh my God.
Roughly an hour.
Man,
But-
grab a Breck Brew, post up.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. By the way, can you pull this up, Kale? Do you have our book? The book has hit stores. It's all over Colorado. Golden Era. It's a collection of writings from us throughout the years. Let's not kid ourselves, mostly Harrison. But we also make cameos there, the rest of the squad. Some great photos. A commemorative thing, but I'm telling you, you can get it at Barnes & Noble. You can get it at Costco. I think it's only like $11 at Costco or something.
Wow,
it's
that's
unbelievable. You can get
crazy.
it at Walmart. You can get it at Circle K. You can get it on our website. So it's really cool, man.
At Circle K?
Yeah, at Circle K,
Oh my
man.
God, man.
You stop in at Circle
We're
K.
worldwide.
I'm telling you, this book is going to be one of those books that sells like, maybe 100,000. Like, it's just going to be, it's all over. And I'm telling you, I've seen a couple other books pop up because you know how I am. I want to see what other people are doing. Not just saying this. I'm barely featured in it. It's mostly Harrison. Kicks every other commemorative book's ass. I look and flip and throw it. I'm like,
it's got actual, like, it's got substance, but it's also got, like, it's a DNVR book.
That's it.
It's DNVR.
It feels like DNVR.
Eric's work, Ryan's work.
Yeah.
And I think that is specifically in this medium what would separate our version of it from others. All the great visuals, great pictures you've seen throughout the season. So I think it's a lot more of it's a book, but it's a commemorative thing to own, to look at, to flip open and put on your man cave, woman cave.
and you can just tell that there's a lot of love there. I'm telling you from going through this process with the publisher, a publisher is just a big company that's trying to get something out. 9 out of 10 times when they put together a commemorative book, it's somebody that doesn't know anything about the city, about this, that. The love of the city, the love of the team obviously shines through. So I'm obviously biased, but I think it's incredible. All right, so let's go back to, do we have a big board here? We keep having the one guy that keeps falling here.
Sensible?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Nick Smith.
Nick Smith.
Is there a reason? Do we just have him? Do we mislabel him on this, do you think?
No, I mean, he's mocked in the teens. This is past where a lot of people expected him to go. 6'5" guard, freshman. He had like a really inefficient season at Arkansas. He was like one of the talented guys that had the ball in his hands a lot at Arkansas. He's a clutch client.
Well, he came into this like as a top 10 pick. Like everybody thought that he was going to go top 10. But then he got hurt like 3-4 times last year and then could never find a rhythm.
Super high recruit too.
To where they were pushing it. Also, he had to play like the back, the second, third fiddle to guys. So that made it even more difficult for him because he's used to being the guy, the man. So really it's the injuries that made him fall a lot more. Andre, while you're sitting in here, do you have any Smith takes?
Nick Smith?
Yeah, so I think he was maybe a smidge overrated coming out of high school. Then he goes to this Arkansas team where they're going to have 4 dudes drafted tonight. Anthony Black already went. Jordan Walsh is a guy we're all expecting to go. Ricky Council is a guy who will go in the second round.
Arkansas is definitely going to have some sanctions coming down on them in 5 years.
But Nick Smith
a rapid rise.
I've been to Fayetteville, cool little college town. No way they should have gotten all those guys.
Emphasis on little.
And Nick Smith comes in as the hot shooter, kind of the guy, the straw who stirs the drink, and he just couldn't do it with that little spacing that the Arkansas offense afforded them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think he was maybe just overrated coming out of high school, and now we're more properly rating him, to me, what's crazy is so many of the dudes we've already seen go in high school were not thought of as highly as Derek Whitehead.
Well, you got the injury concerns with him as
got
well.
The foot injuries,
Yeah.
though.
I mean, he's also expected to go in this range. The guard from Duke, who was, like we talked about earlier, the #1 recruit coming out of high school.
Dude, his clips at Montverde, one of the top high schools, he looks so much like Georgia KCP, who went 7th overall, because he's a guy who could shoot 3 and D and can still do that one dribble pull up from mid-range around the screen.
So, Jay, I've got a couple bigger picture questions for you.
Yeah.
We just ran through it without you on the panel. Kale, can you pull up the big board again if you have a second? No worries if you're busy. Dre, I'm just curious if you're very surprised or at all surprised to see any of these names still on the board, who you expect to go, and are any of those names a name that Denver might soon consider trading up for?
Once Cam Smith went, I am far less surprised than I was going in.
Okay.
But man, Bryce Sensabaugh, that guy is just a bucket, and he's got an NBA frame, very Desmond Bainey in how he looks and how his game translates. Only Desmond Bain declared as a senior. This guy's putting up those kind of numbers coming off his freshman year at Ohio State. I'm pretty surprised he's still around. I'm not sure what's necessarily dropping him. Like, Cam makes sense. Nick Smith makes sense.
Oh, the pick is in, though.
Oh.
So this is Brooklyn's back-to-back picks. This is the second
22nd pick, yeah.
I don't know who this is. I don't know who they've taken. I'm just going to rely on our producer.
Oh.
There is Dariq Whitehead out of Duke. So the fall stops at the Nets.
Makes a lot of sense for them to double up on talented freshmen.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Dariq Whitehead, he has some injury concerns. I think he had 2 foot surgeries in the last year, which is always scary. But, I mean, he could be a steal if he gets healthy. And, you know, he gets back to the player he was entering college. 6'6", 6'10" wingspan. Just kind of a playmaking guard. He's a great scorer, great feel for the game, just great scoring instincts. He can be a good defender as well. He's got close to an NBA body already, and he's only 18 years old. So, I mean, this could be a steal for Brooklyn if he's able to get healthy and stay healthy.
Of course it's a steal. He was the #1 player. The #1. McDonald's All-American, Mr. USA, Mr. Basketball for the entire country. Like, getting him late like this, all you have to do is cross your fingers. If it happens, like, it's right there. And also, this is part of the Kevin Durant trade, right? Like, you take a chance right here.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, like, if it doesn't work out, we got rid of Kevin Durant. It's going to look bad no matter what here. Let's take a chance on a guy, and this is the guy you take the chance on. And he's coming from Duke.
His high school tape's so fun, man.
Oh,
his high school tape's like, shit, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
And then you watch the Duke tape, he's like very vanilla, kind of boring dude, right? Like, just, he can hit some shots, he can defend. Very basic guy. Portland here with their second pick. This feels like an Omax destination.
I mean, it could be. They went guard, obviously, with Scoot Henderson. I mean, I'm sure they're just still trying to take best player on the board. It probably helps if that guy is a 3, 4, or 5, though, because, I mean, they've got their 2 building blocks for the future in Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe. It's funny. I saw a report before the draft that was like, Jeremy Grant wants $30 million a year on his next contract.
Jesus.
Same.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
That's not too dissimilar from the raise I just asked for at this point.
That's $10 million more than the $20 million he wanted on his last contract per year. But it's like, if you're Portland, this is a like fork in the road for Portland as a franchise. I've got to think. You have another chance to get a young, talented guy. You already just got Scoot Henderson.
Oh, and it's in.
Are you having Damian Lillard and Jeremy Grant for $30 million next season with these young guys? Like, what are you doing? This is a landmark night, or at least it should be for Portland.
There's also been some talk of like James Nagy, someone to replace Nurkic.
Yeah, it seems like, well, the pick is in, or at least the tweet is in.
Yeah, the tweet is in.
Kayla, I don't know if you're ready to go.
This is a lot for Portland to consider. I've got to think.
Portland is going to take Chris Murray here at 23, so he finally is off the board.
Sniping him from Sacktown, who could have taken him with the next pick and reunited the Murray twins.
And this is interesting because Chris Murray, as Adamar's delivers some beers. What a great boss that guy is. I say it every day, but I'll say it again.
So true.
But Chris Murray, though, a guy who's kind of NBA ready.
Very. He lacks those sexy traits, but he's a shooter with size on a 215 frame, and he can play defense. Like
6'8", 6'11" wingspan. Like physically, he's ready to play in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
not quite the one-on-one scorer Keegan was, which is obviously why Keegan went top 10 and was one of the favorites to be Rookie of the Year last year. But still, Chris can ball.
Yeah.
Portland, though, I don't know.
This doesn't get us any closer to like what's their direction.
It does not.
Yeah.
It does
Because he's a
not.
play now guy.
Is he though? I mean, I'm not saying he's bad. I just don't know if in Portland he can be.
Or like makes them better next year. Yeah.
And I do think that he's a good role player. I think that if you put him on a contender, he is going to earn some minutes. He's going to fight for some minutes. You put him on a team without any direction as a role player, I don't know what you do. I don't know what he gets in the game and impacts or changes. Could you grab two?
Pass him, Andre.
So, yeah. So like it just doesn't move me in the face of I don't know what his fit's going to be at the next level for a team like Portland.
Yeah. I don't either. We'll see. But I mean, he's just more NBA ready than other guys that were available at this spot.
They need more of a ceiling raiser than that, though, right? Like,
But if
why
they're
not
keeping
take a
Dame,
swing on
if they're
Max
keeping
Lewis?
Dame Lillard, that's what I'm saying. If they're keeping Dame Lillard, they
Fair
would
enough.
want a guy like Chris Murray.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
fair
why I
enough.
mean it gives us no further clues where they're headed
Yeah.
after taking
Right. Like if
Scoot
they
Brother.
took, a guy who was pure upside and needed
Right.
maybe a redshirt season, you would think.
Is Grant is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there, but
He's a free agent. But all the talk has been that Portland wants to re-sign him.
Yeah, I mean, because this is like a small forward / power forward type of guy
yeah.
that can space the floor and do those type of things. But it doesn't hurt as bad if you get a guy like this and have to get rid of a Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we got to remember so much of these picks, you're thinking a year out plus.
They showing his brother. All of his brothers'
Well,
highlights.
it's because him and his brother play like very similarly. Like very
I'm
similar
sure they have
players.
highlights of him.
And the Kings are
Him
up
and his
now.
brother look pretty similar too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Identical twins, yeah.
Yeah.
They got
we
that
do
going
have the
for 'em,
Kings
man.
on the board right now. I mean, you would think the Kings are looking for more NBA ready type of guy as well.
Yeah, they're looking for some Harrison Barnes insurance. Is that where they're at?
He is a free agent. He has been in some trade rumors, so maybe a 3.
So who would that guy be? I'm not sure. Omax.
Can we go to the big
is-
board when we get a second too?
Leonard Miller, maybe?
It's not updated.
Okay.
And then also just a quick update on our big board. We have had Andre Jackson Jr. grayed out. He is still on the board. Andre Jackson Jr. still an option.
Oh yeah, I got scared for a
I
second.
think briefly confused with the other fella, but Andre Jackson Jr. You see him there at 32, still an option,
Jalen Hood
still on the board.
Scafino.
Great note on that.
So I mean, yeah, we got Nick Smith still out there. I don't think he'd be a Sacramento type of guy. I think they need a center. Sacramento does.
We have a pick.
We do have a pick.
have a
We'll wait
pick.
for Kale though.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Defender could also be an area where Sacramento
Yeah, man.
goes.
I think any rangy defender, big,
Rangy defender as well.
Yeah.
But we're getting close to the Nuggets here. I mean,
So close.
We're at 24 with Sacramento, just 5 away from Denver.
5 away.
And we've got, a lot of guys that we think the Nuggets might be interested in still available.
Yeah. Look at this.
The pick is in. I don't know who it is.
Yeah, you're going to be surprised.
Olivier Maxence Prosper. Max.
But they're
Oh,
trading him
Max.
to Dallas for they're giving Rashawn Holmes and then OMP at 24 to Dallas.
So
Interesting.
that pick is for Dallas. Interesting. Dallas doing some big work in the draft tonight.
Yeah.
So they had a 3-and-D guy they needed once Dorian Finney-Smith left.
Yeah.
And Holmes is
Another backup big.
Yeah, right.
That's a good comp because
more
Maxence
big
Prosper he is a Dorian Finney-Smith kind of facsimile, I would think.
So what's Sacktown getting for them?
Yeah, we don't have
Well,
that.
they're going younger with forwards.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
that front
that's-
court's going way younger.
They're just getting younger forwards.
Yeah. There was a time when I liked this guy for the Nuggets, though.
Yeah.
It's
a hot
kind
name
of got
at
word they
29.
weren't interested in him, but he compares to Jeremy Grant for me. Just an athlete, good defender, in-your-face type of guy on that end. Can defend a bunch of different positions. He's like 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan. Good lob finisher.
40-inch vertical.
40-inch vert.
That's big combine riser. Was a guy who was we were locked in on him because he was projected to be around at 40 for that Nuggets pick, and then he rose like crazy during the combine. Yeah, I mean,
another update from Woj. The Kings are sending Holmes into the traded player exception that was created via the OKC trade.
So somebody did bite on that traded player exception that they broadcasted out there.
Derek Lively, Omax, and Holmes are the 3 additions for Dallas tonight.
That's weird. That's a lot of money to spend on Rashawn Holmes, who couldn't even get on the floor in Sacramento for some reason. Whatever.
Oh, Omax,
here's the updated
Canadian.
big board.
It's a big deal. Canadian over here, man.
Here is the updated big board.
Who's your best player available? Is it Nick Smith, Andre? No?
No, Sensabaugh would be my best player available at this point. I just, as a freshman, what he was doing was really impressed me. Real impressed me. And again, I can't get away from that Desmond Bane comp. Which to me, it's like add Desmond Bane to this Nuggets bench. I'm ready to roll. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Also, your guy Ray and Rupert. Ray and Rupert.
God damn it! I don't want to plant my flag on him now that you.
If the Nuggets take him, man, I might have to delete some YouTube clips.
I know, for real. By the way, we've got another trade. This one less immediate in terms of consequence, but the Milwaukee Bucks are acquiring number 36. In a deal with the Orlando Magic, so just something to keep an eye on. And then earlier, if you missed it, Middleton, free agent, which is a big deal, man.
He's going back to the Bucks.
He's going back to the Bucks.
He turned down so much money.
Yeah, I'm still shocked about that.
Cow.
He's just going to get a
What, he turned down like
deal.
50 million?
Yeah.
40 million.
Insanity.
A guy with an injury history, though, you want to collect that money right now.
So that's what it was. He took the longer, because 40 million. I'm like, there's no way anybody's paying that. They don't want to pay him that.
No, I mean he's not going to make 40 million a year, but he'll probably make close to 30.
Yeah,
for like the next 4 years or 3 years. So.
Yeah, you take that chance.
Yeah.
So this 25th pick is one of those Boston picks that was, or one of those Grizzly picks that was traded to Boston for Marcus Smart.
Oh, is that one of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a Celtics pick. And we're this close to having live odds to bet on the Nuggets 29th pick.
Oh, wow.
Jordan Walsh, the favorite to go 27th, plus 250 right now. That scares me a little.
Who's picking 27th?
27th would be the Hornets with what used to be the Nuggets' original first rounder that I believe was traded for RJ Hampton back in the day.
Okay. Can you give us some odds on who's favored to go in these next couple of picks?
Yeah,
too?
so we don't get odds for 25th or 26th.
We've got more action, fellas.
Yeah, give it to us, Mo.
So the pick is in here at 25. So this is this is Memphis picking for Boston.
Exactly.
Correct?
Yeah.
And so Boston is drafting Marcus Sasser, once mocked to the Nuggets as recently as today.
Let's go, because I'd rather other options. That's awesome.
So the Boston Celtics are replacing a Marcus with a Marcus.
Well, they're drafting Sasser at 25, but then they're trading to Detroit for 31.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a lot to map.
And
there.
this is now 2 teams who've gotten themselves in position to draft right in front of the Nuggets in the second round. So Boston just acquired 31 right in front of that 32nd pick. And who acquired 36 right in front of that 37th pick?
Look, I don't know if the Nuggets wanted Marcus Sasser. I don't know. He was mocked to them.
Let's hope.
But you hope this wasn't an OG and an OB situation.
Boy. You guys ready for some 29th odds?
Who's supposed to go 29?
Bryce Sensabaugh, shortest odds, plus 350. I would love that. James Nagy, plus 450.
Oh,
second
boy.
shortest on the not Cal list.
Oh, boy.
Jordan Walsh, third shortest odds, plus 500. Then it's Sin Sissoko at plus 550. Kobe Brown, plus 700, tied with Kobe Jones and Ben Shepherd and Andre Jackson. All those guys, plus 700. Then Ryan Rupert and Julian Strother.
Okay.
The Gonzaga
So a lot of guys
shooter.
we've talked about.
So one more time, if you're confused in the chat, that was Memphis picking for Boston at 25. Boston wanted them to take Sasser and then made a second deal to send Sasser to Detroit to pick at 31 instead.
Yep.
So you've got Sasser in Detroit is the ultimate thing there with 25.
Thank you for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
We are getting closer to 29. We're at 26. It's Indiana. At least I think it's Indiana on
Who
the
did
clock.
he say had the shortest odds for 29?
Sasser, right?
Sasser just went. Dre just was saying it was Sensabaugh,
Yeah, there
but
you
I
go.
wonder if that's just because he's the best available player on
It's
the
just
board.
the sensible pick.
Mr. Sensible.
It's a sensible pick. It's sensible. Sensible.
Yeah. But Jordan Walsh was the number 3 odds, I think. Colby Jones was also on there. Andre Jackson
Can we
was
see
on
that?
there
Do we
too.
have the updated big board? Do we have a latest big board? Because I want to see this now as we start to
James
see.
Najee was also on there.
Man, I'll be honest. I don't know. All right, so let's
James
look at this.
Najee's a draft and stash candidate.
Nick Smith, Rupert, Sensabaugh, Miller, Najee. So they're going to get one of these guys, Jones, Lewis, Jackson. You know what? There's a lot of good guys out there. So how many more picks are there? 4 more picks currently?
Yeah.
So they'll be the 4th. You look at it and you go, okay, Andre Jackson, Colby Jones, my guy Walsh. So we're 1 pick away from me getting like one of the guys I kind of liked most. I can't take it. I think
good.
I think that's not bad, man. That's not bad. And Nick Smith Jr., man, just not getting picked. Do we have a new one? Did you guys already get this one? The trade? Celtics getting the number 31.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on it.
We've
clarified, we've laid it out.
So I was busy getting you guys waters and beers and making sure everything was taken care of.
Thank you so much for that.
You know, that's just how I am.
As
Look,
a boss,
a lot of people
too.
don't know that.
As a boss figure,
but
for you
really.
to get us drinks says a lot.
It does say a lot, man. World's greatest boss. You guys see that mug I have?
You do
believe
not
it?
have one
I
of
think
those.
you bought it for
yourself.
I got it at a shop, man. It was a great one. That's the Michael Scott.
All right. 3 picks away. Thank the Lord.
Straw poll. Do you guys feel like this is taking forever? Forever, right?
Yo, I'm telling you, we've never been a post-championship team.
I know,
The draft
I know.
is usually like a top 3 day in the Nugget
know.
cycle. You know, it's like, hey,
This is just little stuff, man.
This
This is little stuff in
It's
the
almost a
world of the
chore.
NBA.
People playing catch up, yeah. I had to check my
This is all
calendar.
about the future. We're operating in the present.
You guys are talking about future stuff, old stuff.
Potential.
We're living
I
in the
want to know
now.
what's happening right now.
Oh, baby. What a treat.
oh my God, it is quite the treat. No, it is fun. You know, it's funny. So thinking about what to wear tonight, and I went
Tell
with
us
all
more.
the Nuggets are good because obviously that's like the funnest, you know, one of our fun rallying cries. But all the Nuggets are good, and in roughly 15 minutes, there'll be a new Nugget to add to that mix. You know, a new guy that goes from just some guy that was on a sheet of paper and maybe you watched a film to our guy.
Yeah.
And it's funny in fanhood how that leap happens like that. You know, like Zeke Najee was the ultimate one of that. We're like, and then you're like, all right, it's our guy, Zeke. It's our guy,
So
Zeke.
there's a new favorite to go number 29 at plus 300, and it's Jordan Walsh.
I think they're getting him.
Guys,
We might have nailed it.
my guy.
The favorite to go 28th is Rayan Rupert,
Okay.
who we don't have to worry about the Nuggets taking, I don't think.
We got a super chat that
Matt
came in from
Powell.
Matt
All the
Powell.
Nuggets are good. Andre Jackson and Jordan Walsh to the Nuggets.
Let's go, baby. Hey,
let's
they got
dream
2
big.
in a row. So here's what's funny.
It's
is
our world.
We have been on live now for roughly, actually, it's crazy to think. I had no idea. We've been live for 3 hours.
Doesn't feel like it.
That actually doesn't feel like. I felt like it's been a long time, but I would have guessed like an hour and a half or 2 hours. 3 hours. Here we are live for 3 hours, and we haven't had a single pick. We're about to have 3 picks in like right in a row, like back to back to back. So it's about to really pick up something fierce here. It should
Jordan
be
Walsh
good.
plus 300 for number 29. Bryce Sensabaugh, best player on the board right now, plus 350, and then James Najee plus 450.
Brian says almost time for a Taco Bell commercial.
Could you imagine if there was a commercial when the Nuggets were picking again?
Oh, what a great sign that would be. Unbelievable sign. So do we already have Indiana's pick? Do we already know it?
Do we?
No, it hasn't come
all
in
right,
yet.
So it is. That's not leaked yet. Okay. Milwaukee acquired the number 36. That could be interesting given that Denver is at 37. Sometimes, you look for something like that. Like, did they get intel and they're like, oh, Denver was going to take our guy. We got to go in front.
To just rush to it.
Let's find out what's happening here. I love it.
I just feel like it was always Walsh.
The odds are going shorter. He's now plus 180.
I knew I should have put him on there, but I just had to let you guys have shine after getting Christian right last year.
I mean, the Nuggets might be lasering in on Jordan Walsh at number 29.
Focus.
Wind chime coming in.
Dialed in.
I hope so. It's always fun when it's your guy, when their guy is your guy. Yeah. And I mean, I've liked this guy for hours. I have been high on this guy, honestly, since this morning. I really have.
Since the strength section of that video.
The strength section of his workout videos were unbelievable.
It's hilarious how you're just like looking at these guys and you're like trying to find something. They don't go to your team, so you don't like them anymore. As soon as they go to your team, you convince yourself like,
oh yeah,
this is a Nuggets pick for sure. This is always going to happen.
I never moved on from anybody the way I moved on from Jaden Springer, my guy, to like this bum out of here.
No, but I think there's a Jaden Springer resurgence
after Summer League.
What's that?
I think Jaden Springer's gonna have a breakout here.
I mean, there is a world where Jaden Springer is better than Bones.
You know who the guy that got away though is Quentin Grimes. I love Quentin Grimes.
We did like Quentin Grimes.
We liked Quentin Grimes, and we were right about that one. You know what? He has. He's got that dog in him.
He does have that dog in him.
Quentin Grimes definitely has. Quentin Grimes is the real Bruce Brown facsimile, I think.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of Bruce Brown to his game. I like Quentin Grimes, man. I'm a Quentin Grimes truther. I wonder what Malone's input is on all of this too.
I'm sure he's had a lot.
Dude,
I wish I could.
Can I tell a Malone story really quick?
Please.
From the draft. So, what draft was Michael Porter in?
2018.
2018 draft. We're down at then Pepsi Center for it. The Nuggets make the Michael Porter Jr. pick. We went out to film a video in the hallway, and Michael Malone comes out of the locker room. And he goes, man, I'm glad we got Michael Porter, but I really liked...
Miles Bridges?
No. Zaire Smith.
Zaire Smith, you're right.
That was the other one.
You're right.
Zaire Smith. That was who they were
the
debating
Sixers almost
with.
killed him, right?
Yeah, they really did.
He
like had a weird food allergy type of thing.
All right, guys, the pick is in.
I remember when Zaire came and worked out here, dunking the hell out of the ball.
Yeah, he was like,
he can fly.
6'3" with a 45-inch vertical.
The Indiana Pacers are taking, with the 26th pick, Ben Shepherd. Ben Shepherd, man. I like this guy. I liked him okay. I just like guys that are smart moving off ball. He was a good off-ball mover.
He is a very Indiana Pacer type of player.
Want to give us the rundown on him?
Ben Shepherd, 6'5". I mean, he's a shooter. Great shooter off the catch. Good athlete, too. Can shoot off a movement, off the dribble, too. He's a good defender as well. On ball, just a smart, high IQ player. I thought he looked pretty skinny on the film, though. So I'm a little curious about how he's going to hold up defensively from that aspect. But just a good all-around player.
Yeah. I actually really like his, but as well, like, just athletically, he looks like a guy that's never going to be. He's not like a fast twitch kind of guy. He kind of almost moves. I would call him a smooth athlete, but I will say this: jumper's pretty, man.
He can
guys
really,
that have a
really
jumper that's a work of art. Almost has Doc Rivers' smile. Did you see that?
Shot. Well, I was going to say his shot looks like Ray Allen's. Got like Ray Allen type of shot.
That's a smooth shot.
He can shoot it.
I did not think the Nuggets were going to take him. I don't think that was a guy. I will say, yesterday's mock draft from Gavoni had the Nuggets Ben Shepherd off the board. Obviously, that changed today. Who was it they had today? Who's Gavoni have?
Sasser. Marcus Sasser.
Oh, yeah, and he's already gone, right?
He's gone.
He's gone.
Gavoni.
Out of there.
Gavoni.
Should we go over that one more time? That was the Boston trade.
That was the Memphis to Boston.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
To Detroit.
Just a quick update on the odds for the 29th pick on DraftKings Sportsbook. Jordan Walsh, the favorite, plus 120.
Man, it's getting
for the
shorter
Nuggets.
and shorter.
Bryce Sensabaugh, plus 350. James Najee, plus 450. So Jordan Walsh, clear favorite to go to the Nuggets right now.
That's big time. That's big time. It gets me excited, man.
Yeah. This can be the first pick we've liked in 4 years.
It might be a bad. You love Bones. You were all in on Bones.
I did like the Bones pick. Yeah.
I said on this show, which has been scrubbed from the internet, that I liked the pick. I liked the Christian Brown pick. It was a good pick.
Yeah, we were all obsessed with his negative wingspan.
Yeah. You guys were T-Rex
We
arming
were
it.
obsessed with it.
I was sitting here saying he's a winner.
Not a thing we like cared about too, like all season long. I never once was like his tiny arms.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It didn't come up once.
It didn't come up like you're watching him.
Could have just got that rebound.
He can't get any rebounds because those little bitty arms.
He's skying over dudes for the hardest rebounds.
Dunking on people left to right.
What's the chat wanting? I'm curious what people are wanting in the chat.
Yeah, who do you want the Nuggets to draft? Let us know in the chat. If you don't say Jordan Walsh, you might get booted.
Oh, another pick is in.
The
Man,
tweet is
we're
in.
only one pick away now from the Nuggets. So the 27th pick from the Charlotte Hornets, they are selecting Nick Smith Jr. So they are going with the guy who is falling. Now, what?
Who's that?
Charlotte. Charlotte is going to be taking Nick Smith Jr.
He'll fit in well there.
Jeez.
What?
That just sounded like
a lot
an
of playing
insult.
time.
There will be a lot of playing time. Do you not like him? I mean, clearly he fell.
I mean, there's obviously a reason he fell. Teams don't seem to like him.
Shades of Jamal Murray, according to the Ringer.
Well, that means I might like him a little bit. But he's a 6'5" point guard, 6'8" wingspan, 19 years old, just a one and done at Arkansas. It seems like, he's got a high ceiling. He's got a nice profile to him. That's Jordan Hawkins. That is not Nick Smith. All good. All good. But he's a really fluid athlete, effortless shooter. He didn't shoot it well from three last year, but he should be a good shooter in the pros. He just looks like an NBA type guy on film. Looks like an NBA type guy.
Wow, you guys, another pick is in. So we're actually going to end up having to sit here for a minute, I believe. Go ahead, Dave. We got another pick is in here. The 28th pick. A very Sensabaugh one from Ohio.
Sensabaugh.
For the Utah Jazz. They're taking Bryce Sensabaugh. Utah Jazz are selecting Bryce Sensabaugh.
And
I give him
this
one.
should clear the way for the Nuggets to take Jordan Walsh at 29. Sensabaugh was like the top player on the board.
Man.
Jordan Walsh seems like the clear pick or what the clear pick will be.
Can we get an updated, as soon as you can, Kale, updated big board? Because now the Nuggets will be selecting here, and we can kind of look at everybody that's available. Look at the odds now. Refresh the odds.
I just did. And Jordan Walsh is in minus territory.
Minus territory.
Minus 170. Kobe Brown's jumped up to the second most likely pick at plus 400.
Can you imagine?
Odds are now off the board.
Talk to me, Calvin. Just shoot me a little text, Calvin.
But I mean, the clear favorite right here is the guy from Arkansas, our guy.
Do you think that's who it is? More than Andre Jackson even? 'Cause I feel like he was the guy that in all the mocks was ahead.
I mean, it's clear they might know something.
Yeah. Give me the rundown on Sensabaugh, though, real quick, before this news comes in for the Nuggets.
So
he scores.
Sensabaugh, he is a scorer, one and done at Ohio State, a freshman, 19 years old, 6'6", kind of TJ Warren-esque, that scorer from the three. Ball handling, he can pull up off the dribble, he can shoot off the catch. A lot of potential. A lot of potential as a bucket getter.
Yeah, and not a great defender, which is why he's still available. Even still, such a prolific potential bucket getter that you can consider this a bit of a slide for him. I think some people, and obviously everyone's a little different, thought he'd go much earlier. Utah moved on from Jordan Clarkson. I'm not saying they're the same player, but just having a guy who's, can get hot, fill it up for you for a couple of minutes. This is a guy who can fill that role going forward. So
yeah. Singer is reporting. Mike Singer is reporting that the Nuggets are strongly considering Julian Strawther, so it would be off the board. Do we have the big board?
That would be stunning.
Yeah, I think they're going to still get Jordan Walsh because they get the back-to-back. But why would they try to wait for like 36 or something like that?
So we're looking at
Julian
this.
Strawther, clear projected second rounder.
Yeah, so you get him with the last pick.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Again, though, we know that we only have one sample size in terms of drafts. But Calvin doesn't mess around with that.
That's a good point.
He'll take the guy he wants.
You're right.
yeah, he
Both
is-
of his picks were a little
He'll
before
take him if he
projected.
thinks
You're
that's the
right.
guy. He doesn't care if it's 36 or 27 or whatever, or 29. Excuse me.
If he likes a guy, he's gonna take him.
Yeah.
He's gonna trust his scout over anything else. So we'll see. But the Nuggets are on the clock pretty much.
And no updates from the big fellas, Shams and Woj. So we'll have to wait and see, like everyone else. Unbelievable.
Should be interesting, man. It is also great that they just have these two back-to-back because it could be, it's possible they end up taking two of these guys that we've been talking about.
Back to back? What do you mean?
I mean, 29-32, almost back.
29-30, yeah.
Okay.
Back to break and then a back.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they think.
Yes, chat, we know not back-to-back. Kind of close to back-to-back.
Maybe they think Jordan Walsh will be there at 32.
I mean, there's probably a good chance
I
of it,
feel
to
like
be honest.
Strother would be there at 32.
Yeah, you're right. You're
We'll
not wrong.
find out together, gentlemen.
Yeah, we will.
We'll have to take a look. It should be any second here as the Nuggets are.
Someone else already has Walsh. That's what it has to be, something like that.
You think?
What?
I love that dude, man. That guy just defends like a maniac.
I know. I really liked him too.
It's so funny when you fall for a guy. You know what I mean? They're like,
oh, we've all been there.
We've all been
We've
there.
all fallen for guys.
It's the guy whose weakness section you didn't watch.
Yeah, it's the guy who's you just didn't have time
You
to
didn't
watch
have
his
time,
weaknesses.
but you saw the strengths.
Yeah, for sure.
So it would seem, right? You guys want to do some reckless speculation? Are they still making this decision live to
It
this
seems
moment?
like Strother is the guy.
Singer is reporting it as the done deal.
I
so
saw
we'll
Jake
find.
Fisher
Right.
report it too.
It's going to be Strother, according to Singer.
Now, let's take a. I want to kind of just wait a second here. Our guy Jake Fisher, I do
Julian
know,
Strother-
got last year.
Oh, did he?
Well, he said Nuggets were taking Nemhart, if you recall.
Oh, did he?
He put the graphic and everything, and it ended up being wrong. So
I
again,
mean, Julian Strother is a guy we've not talked about a lot, but I have watched him play because I did watch the tournament last year.
right here in Colorado, even.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he did
went
play
and watched
here
that
at Ball
game.
Arena.
How was he?
He was good, but Timmy was the show. But he knocked down every three-pointer. Everything that comes his
There
way,
it
he
is.
is knocking down.
They got it right.
Spaces the floor in every way.
They got
And
it
the
right.
pick is in, and it is Julian Strother at number 29.
Talk to us, Win.
All right,
Julian
Win.
Strother, a 6'6" guard out of Gonzaga. He's a junior, 21 years old. And guys, he has one of the prettiest jump shots in this draft class.
Yeah.
He is a shooter. Great off the catch, great relocating around the three-point line. He shot 41% from three last year on more than 5 attempts per game. Got a lot of open shots playing in that Gonzaga offense, which is like a pro-style NBA type of offense that they run. He's a really gifted shooter, really gifted offensive player. He's improved every year that he's been in college. Pretty good with the ball in his hands. He can get to a floater. He can get to the rim. And he's got some strides to make on defense, but the best part about him defensively is he competes. It looks like he wants to be a good defender, on ball, off ball. He's a pretty smart player, so I think he's going to improve there. But I mean, the biggest thing to know about Julian Strother is he's a lights out shooter from beyond the arc. And it's funny because Calvin Booth, I think one of his first press conferences that he did as general manager, he was asked about building a team around Nikola Jokic, and he said, it's pretty obvious that you need shooters. And the Nuggets got one of the best shooters in the draft here in Julian Strother.
Yeah, the big thing for me is the Nuggets have one small forward on the roster, and it's a guy whose shot just left. They're getting another set shooter who can just splash everything, that also understands his role. At Gonzaga, he was not the star. He was not the guy, but he put up 15 points a game, and that's just because he knew that when it came his way, he could knock it down. He has good size. Those intangible things he does have to work on as far as on defense, but for a guy off the bench that you just want to space the floor and knock down threes, this is the guy for you. So I do think that they just wanted a Michael Porter Jr. replacement, and they got it right here.
A Michael Porter Jr. replacement.
Sorry, like a backup option. When that's not working, you have another guy that you can go
and
to.
I mean, I think from that respect, if you look at the bench unit, like he's gonna fit great next to a Christian Brown, next to a Peyton Watson too, potentially. I mean, he's the best shooter out of those three if you're just thinking about a bench construction going forward.
Okay. And he's the guy, by the way, in that UCLA game. He's the guy that hit the game winner. So clutch too. We can add clutch
Got
there
the clutch
too.
gene.
Got that clutch gene.
Yeah.
All right. So what position? Like, where do you think he fits into the depth chart? You know, what kind of player is he from a ready now perspective? Is he a guy that we should expect a couple years from now?
I think he's pretty ready now. I mean, he's a junior at Gonzaga. He's played in a lot of big games, a lot of tournament games, and he's played well in big games. You know, like you were saying, had 11 points, shot 4 or 9 from the floor. Didn't have the best shooting game against UConn, went 0-6, but hit 3 threes against UCLA in the semifinal. Had 28 points in the first round of the tournament against Grand Canyon. He had some big games last year. Like, he had a 40-point game against Portland in January of 2023. He shot 8 of 12 from 3 in that game. Had a 28-point game against Loyola, a 28-point game against Pepperdine, 28 points, like I said, against Grand Canyon in the first round of the tournament. So, like, he can get hot. And, I mean, I think you look at him as a guy who can play both the 2 and the 3.
All right.
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say, good start for Calvin Booth drafting. So, rather, you know, with last year. So, whatever my first thoughts are on the pick, I throw him out the window. You know what I mean? It's clear. And by the way, seems like a guy that could have gone later in the draft. Calvin likes this fella. Calvin had this guy identified. Calvin and company, I should say. And if he's that confident in it, thus far he's earned the benefit of the doubt. So I'm really excited about it. I think, you know, he's not a small guy. I'm a little surprised that it's an offensive guy. You know, I know there's some defensive upside, but 6'6", can shoot. It's exciting stuff, man. And I think anytime a guy, there's a lot of stuff to wonder about with prospects, but when you know that a guy can light it up from deep,
oh yeah,
that's like from a fan perspective, that's an easy thing to sink your teeth
like
in.
we might be betting on Julian Strother threes made next year,
right? And that's a fun. It's an easy, it's an accessible pick as a fan, considering how late in the draft it is.
Yeah. Wicked jumper. I'm just like texting some Gonzaga people here asking, you know, for it, and yeah, wicked jumper, which is always fun to be honest with you, man.
Dude.
Like, give Yoke some tools, and even if it's next year, maybe he doesn't play a whole lot of minutes, that is the funnest mold of player to come in. And then if you talk even just about a summer league, like, give a little spacing, man. The more, like, I want to see Peyton Watson get to run some pick and roll this summer. I want to see him get to do that because I think that's going to be part. Summer league, you try to work on different things. Give him a little guy that can space the floor a little bit.
I think the Nuggets were picking during a commercial as well.
They were, yeah.
Oh, really?
Unbelievable.
Did we get what commercial it was?
I didn't see.
It was like a phone commercial.
Oh,
we
man.
should do a read at pick 41, though. I know we don't have any tonight, but we.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Julian Strother, he won 2 tournament games at Ball Arena this season. He'll be playing at Ball Arena full time now. Nuggets were the best 3-point shooting team in the league for most of the regular season. They shot it well enough from 3 in the playoffs, but you can never have too many shooters.
One of the things I see, you know, they say active defender, plays hard, you know, heady, knows all this stuff, but doesn't get a lot of steals and blocks, which I know is, like, from an analytics perspective, one of the things people look at that just shows anticipation or this or that. So I think one of the questions about him is how will he hold up at the NBA level defensively? But you know what? You got time to work on that. And, you know, the shooting obviously is going to be the piece of this all that I find the most interesting.
Yeah. This is the first pick, though, of Calvin Booth's that has not been like an elite defender, you know?
Yeah.
So he can take guys that are not just defenders.
Right. That's a great point, man.
Well,
somebody said Liberty Mutual.
He's only
all
had
right.
one draft, so it's the sample
That's so
size is
true.
limited. But yeah. We're
But
learning. We're learning
that
about
is
Calvin.
an interesting one. And then also it should be noted that the Timberwolves, Tim Conley, just traded for the 33rd pick. So they traded with San
couple of
Antonio.
seconds, I think.
Couple seconds,
Yeah.
they get the 33rd pick. So Denver will have 29-32, and then the Wolves picking in between Denver's 3rd and 4th pick, basically, this draft.
I do want to say another note on Strother. I mentioned this a second ago, but I do think he's a guy that can play pretty much right away. You know, if you were picking some of these other one-and-done type of guys, a lot of guys that went in the teens and early 20s, you might need a year or two But Julian Strawther, I think, is a guy who can come in,
be that pop off the bench.
be some pop off the bench. I wouldn't guarantee he's going to play as much as Christian Brown did during his rookie season. I think that was a pretty special set of circumstances. But, I mean, Strawther gives you some punch that you can throw in there. And I don't think the NBA is going to be too big for him coming in as a rookie just based on the big minutes he's played already in his college career.
Did I just miss it?
What?
Kobe Brown going next.
Did he go 30?
Going at 30.
Kobe
I told
Brown
you
will be
guys,
taken,
don't
yeah.
sleep on Kobe.
Yeah, we didn't sleep on him. Yeah, just looking at some of this other stuff here, trying to get on him. Let's go through the stats. His last year, 15 points per game. He averaged 5.3 three-point attempts per game, shot 40.8%. So almost 41% on pretty good volume. Of course, in that Gonzaga system, which always generates, some good shots.
I'll stick with that.
He grabbed 6 rebounds, which is quite a bit, honestly, for, a wing-type player. So he contributed on the boards, just 1.3 assists, and then 0.8 steals, 0.4 blocks, 1.5 turnovers. So he had a negative assist-to-turnover ratio, which is a little interesting.
Yeah.
Take that for what you will. Played 31 minutes per game. And then if you go back, his sophomore season, he shot 36.5%. So if you just follow the numbers, 32% as a rookie, 36.5% as a sophomore, 41% as a junior. So, clear sign of improvement with his
and
jumper.
he shot 78% from the line last year. He is going to be an elite shooter.
I love it.
As a rookie. So he's going to be an absolute knockdown guy. And I mean, that's a great skill to have if you're looking for just a specialist off the bench.
Yeah. He also represents Puerto Rico in international competition.
Hell yeah. Love that.
Even though he's from Las Vegas.
That's sick.
So
That's
there
awesome.
you go. And he played for the national team in the U19 World Cup. So that's kind of interesting there. So we have the entire first round
the Clippers
done.
Close it with Kobe Brown.
Julian Strawther. Is it Julian? Oh, yeah, just Julian Strawther. All right. He doesn't have any nicknames we could find?
The Straw Man. Kobe, the Clippers had a 6'8", 250-pound guard at pick 30. He likes post moves and outlet passes. Fucking awesome.
I love that you're a fan of Kobe. Oh, man, did the Clippers get Kobe?
Yeah, they did.
I couldn't believe
I
Kobe
was
went
close.
to the Clippers.
I was that close.
I was making a Kobe Lakers joke.
I get
That's
it.
all right.
I get it.
There it is. All right, so Strawther, a Denver Nugget. He is pretty rangy, man. Just kind of looking him up. He is pretty thin. You're right.
6'6", 6'7", 6'9" wingspan. He is rangy.
A taller Bones Highland? Not the handle.
By the way, how many guards are on that depth chart ahead of Bones now in Clipperland? It's a lot. It's a growing list.
I'm kind of surprised Bones didn't get traded.
I know.
He'll be going to Minnesota probably pretty soon.
Kind of expected him to be traded here.
Julian Strawther, I'd compare him, if you're looking for an NBA comp, to like a Bojan Bogdanovic. That type of off-ball shooter.
All right. Is he Serbian?
No. He's
it.
Puerto Rican.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Boyan's so big, and Boyan has like a little bit of a back to the basket game, with his fall away. I don't think is Strawther that way?
No, I just mean as a guy who's always moving, always, capable of launching from three if he's just got a little bit of airspace.
Yeah, what I like that stands out for Strawther, especially on this Nugget squad, he's been on teams that they give their ball to the center. The center gets the ball in and everyone else operates around him. And that's what's going to happen in Denver. Their best player is their center. So
it's true.
Now it's like, okay, how am I going to space the floor? He already understands that he has to space the floor. He already understands that he has to do those little things. And then when it comes your way, you do have to, score. Gonzaga scores a bunch of points a game. And he's only shooting 5 threes a game, like on that clip. So think about having more options, more volume coming his way.
Yeah.
I do think that it's a great fit now that it's here.
And another thing is, I mentioned this a little bit, but Gonzaga plays an NBA style of offense. Like they have Drew Timme, who's kind of their Jokic. They have a lot of talented guards. And so Strawther obviously will be playing a role as a rookie that's very dumbed down from the one he played at Gonzaga, but projecting just his career path, he'll be going towards playing a similar role to the one he played at Gonzaga the last couple of years, around a couple of other stars.
And also, I mean, that bench, whatever the configuration is, stagger or not, they need someone who not only hits open shots, but inspires a defense to space the floor, to scramble out and contest. And we love this get stops and the transition offense, but they need someone who can shoot, and that's what he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does have a pretty looking jumper too, which
Gorgeous.
is always nice. Like when
Gorgeous.
some guys have a make them, but they're kind of ugly. He has a pretty looking one.
I mean, we're talking about best shooters on the Nuggets: Michael Porter, KCP, Jamal Murray. Who else?
Jack White.
Jack White, number 1. By the way, another pick is in, so the Nuggets are back on the clock. The Charlotte Hornets with the 31st pick, this they acquired from Boston. They are going to be taking James Nagy.
Wait, it's not the Pistons?
What's that? The Charlotte, which, yeah, they got it from Boston.
I see, okay.
So they are taking on James Nagy. So the Nuggets are back on the court. My guy, Walsh, still there. So there's still a chance for the Nuggets to take yet another one. By the way, I was going to say, Bobby Marks reporting this as crediting the Nuggets as taking one of the most ready now players with Strother. So he at least sees him as a guy that is like ready to go. I will say this also, when he came into to Gonzaga, he was behind Kispert and Suggs. So he's a guy that does have experience sort of like waiting
Playing
his turn, so to speak. Yeah, like coming in, like I'm going to back this guy up. So I don't know if that plays a role into it. I will say if we look at Calvin Booth trends that continue now, winning organization, right? You're coming from Gonzaga, one of these teams that he's been on a winning team basically all 3 years he was in college. So that part still tracks, even if the defense part doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, we got just a couple more picks, or the Nuggets are already back up.
God, are you kidding,
The Nuggets
man?
are back on the clock.
And Shams is doing a live studio hit on Damian Lillard.
Of course.
What do you care?
It's the draft.
What are you watching the stadium
No,
draft
I'm
show
just like,
on the
is
side
he
there?
I have him on notifications for draft picks. Oh, is Dame not getting traded? Tell me more.
You hate Dame.
I'm just over it every year. It's like not interesting anymore.
Is it Dame's fault, do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't think every time it came up in the media, it was an accident. I would say that. Trevor Okeson. Just found out Julian Strother went to my high school in Vegas, and we have a mutual friend. Get him on the show, Trevor. Help us out.
Get him on the show.
So, I mean, a lot of the targets that we liked for the Nuggets are still out there.
Andre Jackson's still there. Walsh still there. Kind of be interesting here.
So pissed Kobe's gone.
Are you less likely to take Andre Jackson now that they just took like a guy with similar like height measurables?
Different players though.
Very
They
different.
are very different. I mean, maybe. I mean, Jordan Walsh is what? A couple inches taller? Little longer?
And more of just
totally
a big,
different player.
Yeah, more of an inside guy.
But this is more so like a, hey, you guys, I gave you guys the Strother. You guys have to give me my guy. Calvin's guy, probably Walsh, if I had to guess. He seems like a Walsh guy.
Cal,
So it's like, yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the high recruit. He's a defensive guy. He's a dog that wants to just win at all costs.
All right.
So here we go. Detroit is drafting for Boston. Remember, Memphis originally drafted for Boston at 25.
Here we go.
They picked Kasser for Boston, who then shipped Kasser to Detroit. So now Detroit is picking at 31, but they're picking for Boston. Everyone got it? They're picking for Charlotte. Whatever. I don't care
And it was
anymore.
James Nagy. They already picked him. It's James Nagy. Yeah, James Nagy
James
is already,
Nagy. Okay,
is already going there for Detroit.
Non-Calvin Booth pick.
A non-Calvin Booth guy.
He's at the draft. Look at that.
Yeah, he is at the draft, huh? It's always interesting when they trade. So now it's no longer Adam Silver.
That dude is
It's
huge.
Mark Tatum. Oh, yeah. James Najee's 7-footer. 6'11". Really athletic, too.
The fuck?
From Nigeria.
Well, I'm really excited to find out which team he's playing for. The NBA's got to fix this, man. Once you make the trade, you should draft for yourself. Like it's getting a little.
There's nothing worse. The Donovan Mitchell Nuggets hat one. That's like
it's
the
killing
lamest
me,
one.
man.
We're like, come on, man. Come on, man.
Oh, is that a singer whisper? A singer song?
What does he say?
The Nuggets are strongly considering the Penn State guard. Oh, and there it is from Shams. They're taking Jalen Pickett at number 32.
Jalen Pickett at number 32.
Jalen Pickett.
No. I mean, that means he is way down on what all the projections were. He is not in the top 60 on ESPN's big board. That means.
Wow.
Calvin does not give a shit about your big board.
He does not.
That's the number one Calvin trait.
Wow. Jalen Pickett.
Do you want to come here?
Yeah, might need Dre for
Actually,
this
you know what?
one.
He was mocked by Gavoni.
Hey, vote.
He was mocked by Gavoni at 37 to the Nuggets.
37 to the Nuggets.
So
Okay.
they took him a little bit earlier.
But Jalen Pickett, I mean, a 6'2" point guard, a senior out of Penn State. He's another NBA-ready type of guy. Shot 38% from 3 last year, averaged almost 18 points per game, 6.6 assists. Like, he filled it up last year, 7.4
Wait a
rebounds.
second. Oh, Dev, you got to
Hang
get back
on.
on the show.
Hang
Dev, get back
on.
on the show
Kale,
right now.
do you have this?
Kale, hold on. I'm
Julie-
sending it to him right now. Get back on the show, Dev.
Hey, Dev, come here. Oh my God.
We have our first tweet with Julian Strother as a Denver Nugget. No, that's not Dev. No, that's the actual video.
Oh my
Hold
gosh.
up, Kale. I just sent it to you in Nuggets assignments.
He could still be Mr. Nugget.
Check the fucking drip.
There it is. Julian Strother's first ever tweet as a Denver
Oh
Nugget.
my
He's going with the
God.
Denver Nuggets jeans.
He's my guy.
What a
This is my guy
legend.
right here. Number one.
Wow.
This makes sense.
What a legend. Jalen Pickett was a guy who was mocked to the Nuggets in the last few days. He's just 6'2", but 6'7",
6'2", 6'7"
wingspan. 5-year senior, like really came into his own in this last season at Penn State. I think, as a scorer and guy who creates his own shot off the dribble, that's where like you're going to nitpick a little bit beyond the age. But I mean, he's tough. He'll play defense tough. He'll use that wingspan. And he's a nice secondary ball handler, which is something they kind of needed coming into this. And now you have 2 options, really.
Yeah, so I mean, Jalen Pickett, he's an older guy. Like you said, 5th-year senior. He started his career at Siena.
Yep.
Played 3
Yep.
years there, started every game, then transferred to Penn State, where he played his last 2 years. Started every game for Penn State as well. He started 144 games in college over the course of 5 seasons. So he is experienced. He's going to be NBA ready coming into the league. He was shot 38% from 3 last year.
Right.
76% from the line. He comes in with a shot, but a point guard. A point guard.
In a pretty point guard, not the deepest point guard draft. It's all wings, right? There's no bigs. There are very few point guards. And I mean, they must have identified him as a guy to target because they're taking him ahead of Amari Bailey and other,
Oh, yeah. They can have taken him over a couple other point
more
guards.
highly touted dudes. And some of those defensive wings we kind of had circled. Now, Leonard Millard's this pick at 33. So we're once again getting closer.
Yeah.
After these 2 selections, more likely or less likely they keep the 37th pick?
I mean, I came into this draft saying I wouldn't be surprised if they picked 3 guys. They've got a shooter. They've got kind of a point guard now. Maybe they take somebody else with that 3rd one. But, yeah, this wasn't one that we spent too much time prepping for. Jalen Pickett.
Real quick, Minnesota with 33rd pick. Their pick is in. They are going to be taking Leonard Miller.
Okay.
Was that a non-Calvin guy? I can't
No,
remember.
he wasn't on that big board.
So the Nuggets up again. 3 more picks before they get up. So who knows, man? We can make it a clean sweep if my guy Walsh is somehow still on the board.
Yeah, that'd be
at 37.
amazing.
It should be noted, Calvin Booth, Penn State guy, drafts a Penn State guy.
Yep.
There you go.
Then his son was like, I feel like recruited to Penn State, but then the coach left, and then he like decommitted. So he's like all in on
All Penn State.
Penn State.
Does it make you at all nervous when a guy drafts his alma mater?
Yes, for sure. Well, Penn State guys don't go to the league. That's not like a known place to
I can't
go and
think of the
play
last
in
Penn
the
State
league.
guy, yeah.
So that's one. But also, like, you're, like, a bit too attached. You already have to go watch their games and stuff. Of course, you like them a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then for you to, like, this is obviously a reach because this was a team that was supposed to be way in the second round. So, yeah.
Jalen Pickett has a bit of an unorthodox game, though. He's got an old school game, I'll say. Just kind of watching some of his highlights right now. Goes into the post a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of has a lot of little tricks that
little
he
Andre Miller?
deploys. Maybe a little Andre Miller. Isn't like a high flyer or anything.
Yeah.
This is an interesting pick, man. Like, this is a pick. This has got to be just like a Calvin Booth guy, man.
So what's funny is one of the things I see on him, like on his profile, is sets really good screens, which for a guard is a funny thing. But you think about Denver, inverted pick and rolls. You know, that's actually maybe a skill that carries a little bit more of a premium.
100%.
So that one could be.
It would appear Kobe Jones has just gone at pick 34 here.
Man, so we're going fast here.
Oh, it's
We're
the
fast.
second round, man.
We're going quick.
34th pick to Boston, Colby Jones. I know a lot of Nuggets fans really liked him. They were that was another Nuggets favorite. But
It was one of my favorites.
one of your favorites as well. Andre Jackson still on there. My guy Wall still on there.
Jordan
so you know
Walsh
what?
still
There's
on.
still some
Sid
interesting,
Sissoko still on.
some interesting guys.
Honestly, there's a ton of guys that I kind of had penciled in for the Nuggets that are still around. TJD, the big man out of Indiana, he's still around here.
I can't believe that Walsh is just dropping. If you could get them with your last guy, like, I thought that would be their first pick. You know, if you could get them with your last
So
pick.
did the book. This was about the range where you thought he'd go, though, more or less, like early second, you know?
Yeah.
Or maybe he thought he was going higher. Jordan Walsh reportedly turned down $1 million offer, NIL offer, to return to Arkansas.
Some of those NIL offers are a little
Yeah,
risky.
I mean, fair enough.
So
yeah.
Jalen Pickett, we gotta spend some more time on this guy
Yes.
because he, like I said, he averaged almost 8 rebounds a game last year at Penn State. And keep in mind, he's a 6'2" point guard. He had games of 17 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 11 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 10 rebounds. He also had games of 11 assists, 11 assists, 11 assists. Like, he can absolutely fill it up. He had 1 Sombor double last year. I'm looking at it right now. He had 1 triple double last year. So, like, he fills it up. Like, he fills up the box score. He did a little bit of everything for Penn State.
He was 3rd in the NCAA in points produced, just an unreal volume guard. A 0-star recruit coming out of high school, and now gets drafted in the top 35 ahead of guys like Max Lewis, you know, highly touted. A national champion like Andre Jackson. A former 5-star recruit like Amari Bailey. Really cool story right there.
I'm told that they called Penn State's and his game, but him leading Penn State last year, booty ball, because he would back defenders down so much. He's like played like a giant back down guard. So they called it booty ball, the style of offense.
The Raymond Felton.
The Raymond Felton. He does. I was just watching some film. He does the thing in pick and rolls where he'll snake dribble it and then he'll do the Chris Paul.
Oh, keep him in jail for the longest.
The Chris Paul keep him in jail.
Yep.
But yeah, well, I guess we'll call it booty ball now.
All right, so Nuggets got their own little booty ball going on here.
One of those guys well equipped in the dark arts of the pick and roll. He's got that going for him.
Okay, so Sacramento, we do have a trade. The Celtics are now trading Colby Jones to the Kings. So he will be the Kings, and the Celtics in return get the number 38th pick and a future second rounder. So a small little trade there to move back a few spots for Boston.
Yeah.
But Colby Jones will be going to the Sacramento
Everybody's
Kings.
saying Jalen Pickett reminds him of Andre Miller.
I love it, man. Let's do it.
God.
Hey,
That's
everybody's
the
getting
dream.
fed. Andre Miller comp for me. He's from New York, so Michael Malone gets him. Penn State. Calvin Booth gets him, you know. A little bit of everybody gets to eat here.
Beautiful.
I wonder if Jalen Pickett got a nod of approval from Michael Malone in the draft room. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
I could see that for sure. kind of a weird, like he moves a little weird, right? Like a bit of a boxy 6'2"
I'm telling you,
frame.
he's
and
an unorthodox guy.
he's like long
He's a throwback
arms.
type of player who just like plays his own style.
Plays at his own speed, right? He's
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
those
yeah.
guys, like
Which is
a
pretty
Jokic
slow.
guy. Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
pretty
yes,
slow
yes.
speed.
Slow, methodical. In some ways, his teammate Seth Lundy was more of a free shooting wing.
Yeah.
Was kind of the more highly touted guy of the two, but he was really the engine of that Penn State team. And obviously, I mean, unreal production in the Big Ten, which last few years has really cemented itself as the top conference in the country.
Yeah.
Booty ball coming to Ball Arena. Let's
Love
go, baby.
that. Love me some booty
That's
ball.
ridiculous.
Little booty ball, man.
Might be going, yeah. Might be coming to Ball Arena.
All right, how many picks do we have ahead of Denver now? Are we Orlando? So we're just waiting on Orlando's pick to come in now.
Do we know what this pick at 35 is? Was Kobe Jones 34?
I don't understand how many times you have to tell
Okay, so we're waiting to find
By,
out what
by the way, guys, we're
35
going
is.
to wrap up this live show right after that. We'll probably take a 5-minute break, and then we'll go to, basically a post-draft show right after that. So we'll only be quitting for just a moment, and then we'll be live again on a brand new stream. So that'll be happening momentarily. The shell already up, Kale, for the new stream, so it's already there, so you guys can see it. It won't take like a chance to go use the restroom, whatever you got to do. That'll be coming up here as soon as we break down this third and final pick. Let's keep looking here.
What do you guys think of Imani Bates? You guys got any Imani Bates
I don't
takes?
like Imani Bates. Yeah. Do you like him?
I can't believe how far he's fallen.
It's crazy.
I truly can't believe, because he was like
Crazy.
the number one guy.
Dre, your guy Rayon Rupert is still out there.
I can't believe that.
He's fallen.
You must feel very vindicated.
All right, we do have a new pick here, and it's number 35. Sham's reporting that the Bulls are acquiring the pick from the Wizards. So there's a trade here. They're acquiring it, and they are taking Julian Phillips.
So our
Julian
friends
Phillips.
at CHGO get Julian Phillips. Let's say I'm glad he's not a Nuggets selection.
Really?
Yeah, one and done guy out of Tennessee. Didn't really do much last year in
Yeah.
college. Like, this is a pure upside pick.
P-Watt mold through
Yeah,
and
for
through.
sure. Yeah.
Though maybe not that kind of pedigree and upside.
Bulls fans hate Arturas.
Well, it's funny. It's funny
hate
because
Arturas.
I saw this tweet from one of our CHGO guys after the Nuggets made a trade, and they're like, the Nuggets trade off a championship, looking to do everything they can to like get their guys in the draft. The Bulls straight off of nothing, doing nothing.
Man, that's tough.
So will you guys be disappointed if they don't get a defense first, toolsy, high upside wing here, an Andre Jackson, a Jordan Walsh? Are we okay if they just take care of
That's
a
a good
backup
comment,
big?
AJ. Tim Connolly will draft Imani Bates. That's a Tim Connolly pick, man.
That is a Tim Connolly pick.
man.
I wouldn't be upset because they have Peyton Watson and Christian Brown in the wings just kind of waiting. So you have two guys that fit that mold that you already have, plus you get to bring back, KCP, Aaron Gordon.
Right.
So like you're like, hey, let's just take these options now, and then you're gonna always find a dog defender that's willing to just do whatever. So I think they're just like, we'll wait on that.
I'm seeing this on Twitter
It'll be
from
interesting.
our guy Vinny Benedetto. 2 players recorded a triple-double in Penn State basketball history. One is Jalen Pickett, the other is Calvin Booth.
I love it, man.
Oh, wow. Huh. That is a very cool stat.
Booty ball going viral now. Everybody's all over booty balls.
I can't.
Get the shirt ready, D-line. Booty ball, baby.
Booty ball.
Starting to feel like maybe they'll just go after a backup big here.
Well, James Najee's off the board. We know that.
Yeah.
He was massive when he just walked up.
I
Couldn't
know.
believe it.
So we got a point guard
Big boy.
and a wing.
Yeah.
Would you call it a shooting guard or small forward?
I call him a wing,
A wing,
but probably shooting guard.
probably more of a shooting guard. So 2 backcourt players.
A shooting wing, really.
And 2 players perhaps more on the offensive side of the scale, would you say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Strother for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Pickett, the profile skews a little more offensive heavy.
Pickett is just kind of a hooper. Does it just plays.
Right. Would a stash like Tristan Vucevic
Oh man,
disappointing?
somebody as people have already done, they're going through Pickett's likes history.
Yeah.
Big fan of the Denver Nuggets, apparently.
Oh.
Big Jokic guy, according to the likes for Pickett.
Any DNVR Nuggets likes? That's
Yeah, we really got to get going there.
Right. Oh man, that'd
So we got
be massive for content.
Struther already doing the Denver Nuggets jeans guy. We got Pickett, who's already he liked a tweet that had Nikola Jokic over the last 17 games, and then he gives all of the stat line there. So that's kind of a fun one.
It's
And
like Andre Jackson is going to Orlando.
yeah.
Oh, so 36. Our guy Andre Jackson. We almost got the trifecta. All that's left now is my guy Walsh. Just see if they'll do it
Your
for us.
guy
Still out
Walsh,
there.
man.
He just goes undrafted.
Is he not good? Is it possible? Oh. Yep,
Yeah.
that one we just did. Andre Jackson. I know that was the guy Nuggets fans really wanted.
that's the
Who
Bucks
took him?
picking? I
Who
have
was it?
no
The
idea.
Bucks? The Milwaukee
It's
Bucks?
the magic for the Bucks, I think.
The magic for the Bucks. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Dude, the Bucks
like he would've been a better
added. Who was the G League guy they added last year? Who Eric liked? Oh God, it's gonna kill me. That
Oh,
Marjan
Beauchamp.
dude,
He was good
Beauchamp,
for a while.
Andre Jackson feel
You're right.
slightly
Man,
redundant.
maybe a little redundancy there. You might be right. That could be the clunkiest offense of
You
all
also
time. Keep adding these
wonder
guys.
how much redundancy with P-Watt has kept them away from drafting a Jordan Walsh, an Andre Jackson,
Yeah.
kind of
You
these
wonder. You do wonder.
length wings.
All right.
Updated big board with
We
the
have a
Nuggets
big board.
back
We have
on
a
the
big board for
clock.
the second round.
Look at that.
I don't think so.
Kale. Special K, as we call him.
Special K indeed.
I think that's something
I get
else.
Jalen Pickett way down there at whatever. What is that? 64.
64.
This is what I'm
Okay.
saying. Calvin Booth doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he
doesn't,
cares
man.
not about
He
it.
doesn't.
He
I
should.
mean, this was the
He
ESPN
should've.
big board, so it's not like it's our big board either.
Right.
Right. Because of course, on our big board, he
There's
would have
Jordan
been much
Walsh
higher.
at 39.
Trace still out there if you want to go with the funky big.
TJD.
TJD's. I've talked myself into TJD in the last 2 hours.
I can't say I'd love it, but I'd be stoked because it's on my board.
Yeah, that's right.
And I just want to be right about something.
That's right.
Oh, God.
Look at Wind go.
Huh?
No. No.
Yeah.
Man, 3 rookies is way.
What?
So Singer now reporting Hunter Tyson.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Tyler Lydon?
Hunter
Wow.
Tyson.
Different
Out of
No, they
Clemson.
just announced it. They just
Oh yeah, it's on the
watch
TV.
some Hunter Tyson.
Here he is, boys. The Nuggets are taking Hunter Tyson, it looks like.
He's a perimeter shooter.
He is a 6'8 shooter out of Clemson, kind of in that stretch 4 mold.
This is hilarious.
That's his position, I
Dude.
think. He shot 40.5% from 3 last year on 6 attempts per game. They took a shooter in Strother. They're taking another elite shooter in Hunter Tyson right here. 9.6 rebounds as well. A lot of people call him a late bloomer, but he's got a good feel for the game. Great shooter as well. Another plug-and-play guy, 23 years old.
Wow.
Another guy who's going to be NBA ready for the Nuggets, I think.
Hang on, are you telling me he shot well from 3 and he rebounded well? Was there a zone involved, or is this?
I think Clemson played man-to-man.
Okay, all right.
I know what
just
you're
check-
thinking.
just check
and
it.
nobody say the name. Nobody say the name. His weaknesses, defense, lateral quickness, on the perimeter specifically. Like, he's a guy who could be targeted defensively in the pick and roll. But the thing to know about Hunter Tyson, who the Nuggets are drafting, a senior out of Clemson and a shooter. A straight shooter.
Man, they went all in on the vets and the shooters.
They did.
Chat cracking me.
Hunter
up.
Tyson. I will say 2 strong names.
Jalen Pickett, Hunter Tyson.
Hunter Tyson is like 2 very.
It's
It's like a made-up Hollywood name. I would
It's
say.
a made up fraternity name.
made-up fraternity name there.
Frankly, it's more the name of a baseball
That's very
prospect than,
true,
Hunter Tyson also, like you mentioned this, but you know, a guy who's, if you look at his whole career, not really a great shooter until all of a sudden he was. So I always find that to be a little bit interesting there. Kind of curious to see what was the appeal here for him. Yeah, kind of an interesting one. Well, that's the 3 picks. You know, the Nuggets end up taking 3 guys. None of which were necessarily the guys that I think were like, none of them from our boards, our top 5
As
guys
per
we liked.
usual.
As per usual, the guys that we liked most, but still some interesting names, some really interesting guys.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's just interesting, no value judgment. Calvin traded a future first to get into the first to take a guy that might have been there in the second. It just looks like there were 3 guys in this draft that he liked.
That's
So,
a really good point.
we'll see.
You never
find
know
out.
where guys would have gone or how that would have played out, but you're absolutely right. So there you go, guys. We're going to take a little 5-minute break now. This has been a lot of fun. 5-minute break, and then we're going to head on over to our post-draft show here.
Yes.
Might make a phone call or two or something real quick. Come back, and we'll do a wrap-up show going over all of our big notes. So everybody hit that like button for us on the way out. We'll see you guys in about 5 minutes.
We'll be back live in 5 minutes.